do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, and today I'm sitting here with my boy Ryan Rywire Basseri. Basseri. We just talked about this right now, dude.
It's like we were comparing it to Ryan Hagner. People call him Hogner.
Hogner, dude.
And
shout out to Ryan.
I get it all the time because my last name is spelled Basseri. Sounds like Basseri.
It does.
Basseri, and it's actually like boss.
Boss, because you're the boss.
That was my nickname in high school.
The boss is in town, guys. Thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate it, dude.
Thank you.
We've been trying to do this for a while, since Philly.
Yeah. We did a little trial,
we did a trial one, and then me and Big Mike argued for like an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it usually goes.
And like we were losing people. I kept on seeing, people would depart for their room, and people were sleeping.
Checking texts, huh? Ah, shit, I gotta go.
I was like, let's not upload that one.
I haven't called my mom today, but 33 episodes later, man.
Wow, yeah.
Hopefully I'm getting the practice that I need. I feel like these at least first 50 to 100 podcasts, they're going to be kind of trying to find the lane and see where we go. But I appreciate you coming, man. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for Japan. Yeah, it's almost here, dude.
I know.
This is going to be our third trip, three-peat.
Days away. I
know. So what are you expecting out there? Anything different, or it's kind of just like another SEMA,
Yeah, I don't think anything different. Truthfully, I don't really do like that much, business to business kind of stuff.
No, me neither, dude. I find it as a vacation. We work so hard throughout the year, especially the last quarter of the year is just always nuts for us,
Yeah, for sure.
Even if like you always have something going on with SEMA, whether it's a car, you're helping out cars in the background, which probably a lot of people don't even understand how much that you have into these cars. And with SEMA builds, the dudes come like 2 days before, like, hey, can you wire this for me real quick, Ryan?
Yeah, I told everybody like, nope, I'm not doing anything for SEMA.
It's a lot of stress, man. Yeah. It's a lot. And then we have that. So pretty much the summer, everything dies down. About September, you're just like, oh, you get a nice little cool break, and then come back, you know, October, and then November starts hitting hard.
Yeah, sometimes when you're starting to work on those cars, you're like, okay, let's start early. Let's try to get my part of it done, and then you can't do anything. You have to just literally wait, and sometimes you're the last minute. You've heard people say, "Oh, my car's like essentially done. I just need the wiring.
I just need this."
And then so think about that. The wiring guy all of a sudden has like 6 jobs for SEMA.
Yeah.
And then everybody's car is the last week. So my last week or 2 weeks or even month could be like miserable.
And do you feel that it like hinders your enjoyment at SEMA itself?
No, I get really like mad and irritated for like that month, and then when I get to SEMA, then I'm like, to relax for a minute.
Yeah, that's kind of like a little break, and then all comes back like the holidays and stuff. And business just seems to get a little busier around, like, for us anyways, like Black Friday, because we only run the one sale a year, so it gets really busy. And then the holidays and all that. So when we get to this point, after all the holidays, New Year's, and everything's done, now this is kind of our vacation to ourselves, and it always just takes that little push. Sometimes it maybe, I don't even know, we booked it late this year.
Yeah, we did.
But we're always just like, oh, what are we gonna do? It takes somebody, and it's usually you who's like, all right, we got to do this today, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, we kind of procrastinate for a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, I found this hotel, these 3 options. What do you guys like group text?
It worked out.
Pick one.
It definitely worked out perfect. And it was nice the other year, last year, that we got to stay in the Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice to have a hotel room. So when you come back from the whole day of walking around and shit, your room is done, clean, ready.
Right. Especially for you with Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley's coming this time, so that's gonna be pretty cool. That we'll still all be together. Yeah. But we'll be able to make some Japanese babies out there or something.
A little bit of private time.
What happens if the baby's conceived in Japan? How does that work?
It doesn't make them Japanese, if that's what you're asking.
That would be like a nice little hack, dude.
Yeah.
What about if they're born there?
Oh, well, then maybe they have citizenship, right?
They would have to, right?
I think so, right?
For real, I've never even thought about that. What if you go on vacation and you're just like 7 months and then, oh shit, my
Like
water
early?
broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you're like in Indonesia or something and you're like, oh shit.
Well, I guess they get citizenship and you don't, right?
So the baby can't even leave?
No, the baby can leave. The baby can leave. Just leaves with 2 passports, right? Or
That's
2.
that's pretty dope life hack. I don't know if I'm willing to chance that one though. But I'm excited, man. It's gonna be super fun. I was telling Ash too that last year it was Hegner's first time.
Yeah.
So we kind of had the trip divided into Tokyo, and then we went to Osaka. And this time we're not gonna be going to Osaka, so I feel like we'll have a lot more time just to explore.
Yeah.
In Tokyo.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be pretty cool because they had all those department stores and such where they have like 7-8 floors, and we haven't even had a chance to explore those.
We could do 1 floor a day and we're good.
And see where we end up, man.
Yeah, there's a lot to see, you know. I've been around there a lot, obviously. So
This is gonna be your
probably, I don't know, I'd have to say 12, 13, 14, something like that.
shit.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I was going 2 times a year for years.
Yeah.
So
For
I think-
work or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I went to Week Fest a bunch of times, or so, you know, a few times.
Yeah.
TAS a bunch, and then I've had some like layover stops there.
Gotcha.
Where I'll go and like spend a couple days.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So and then I went there early on, probably like 20 years ago with my friends.
No
Or, like,
way.
15. I don't know. It was like it was early on, like back when I literally would walk around. What am I getting at? You know, just truck stop area or a parking lot, and we would just geek out and look at cars.
No shit.
Like, I can't do that anymore. I get over it. I'm like, oh, okay, another, you know, Sylvia, another whatever.
Yeah.
But back then it was like really, really serious, and like I could literally just nerd out in a parking lot for a day.
So this was before Rywire?
No, I mean like Rywire was like out of my house. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So it was super early on though. One of my friends, my buddy Chris from Canada, he came and stayed with me for a little bit. Helped me on some like little work things, and kind of just convinced me that we had to go to Japan.
Nice. That's a good friend, dude.
Yeah.
Shit.
So we checked out like Spoon. We checked out the Type 1 shop. We checked out like he knew all these spots. I didn't really know a lot about Japan.
Because you were in like the CRX community, right?
He was also in the CRX community. And I was just deep in the CRX stuff. So all I knew was like CRXs.
Got you.
I wasn't really like I was a car guy, right? But I wasn't into all the my world hadn't been cracked and shattered of all, you know. I used to think if you have a B16 CRX that was like the epitome of that's a fast car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and it's quick, but it's not, you know.
I mean, back in the day,
Right,
It
right.
was definitely something. Everything had to blossom at the right time.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, man. Because even now, you know, I love all cars, but the EG, that's where I have my heart at. You know,
Right.
I could see other cars and I could appreciate the work that people put into them and such. But if you ask me what's my favorite chassis, it's gonna be EG. So whenever I see one, it's
Right.
like, oh, let me check that out. You know, because
Yeah.
I'm just more devoted to that. But that's really cool at that young age that you're doing trips like that.
Yeah.
I was actually just talking about this the other day. I posted on Instagram like that it literally costs you maybe $2,500 if that to go to Japan.
I've done it for cheaper, man.
Really?
I think last year,
We got the tickets cheap last year. It was like $550 or something.
Like no joke, I think I spent $1,100.
no shit.
Yeah. Because last year I was kind of broke and I was kind of pinching pennies.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, I think it was like, around $575, something like that for our flight. And then we had another, we all divvied up that one spot.
Yeah.
Second, whatever.
It was
that
like
was cheap.
$175 a day or something.
Yeah,
divided
but
by
divided by
three?
three?
That's ridiculous.
And then, you know, a lot of the Japanese guys, like our friends, when they come to visit us, we, you know, pay for their dinners. Well, they got us on a few dinners, right?
It was a lot.
And then I
It was a lot.
didn't buy shit, like, as far as car parts, because I just, there's nothing to buy anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Everything's over here that you'd want. But I literally must have been, it was sub $1,200. And
Wow.
that's like on a budget.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like we were on a budget though.
No, not
You
at
know,
all.
we still did
Yeah.
a lot of rad shit, and like you said, we went to Osaka and we checked out the shops and things like that.
Well, we didn't pay for the Shinkansen because that would have been $120 20.
Oh, because we drove. That's right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
we got a ride with Yasu from Tokyo to Osaka, and that's a 5-hour, $120 bullet train ride.
Right.
So that saved money right there, and all I did was buy just a little whatever ticket rail. I mean, you're paying like $15 a day for that.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah,
so cheap. So I guess when you go a lot and you kind of know where to save, I know Hagner was his first time and he wanted to kind of ball out a little bit more on the room and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, let's just stay here. It'll be nice,
Yeah, it definitely worked out perfect.
Yeah.
And it felt nice because we were kind of in the heart of it right there in Shibuya. It wasn't far from everything. And hopefully the place that we're staying at now is relatively the same distance.
Yeah.
From it.
I think it's going to be probably about the same distance from their Times Square area.
It was 4/10 of a mile or something.
Oh yeah,
huh?
we're even closer then, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. So we'll just shoot up one of those streets and it'll just be there.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the train station, and then just in the morning, it's a little bit of a ride on the train, but
I'm still trying to remember, how do we get to where we were staying from the airport?
There's two ways. So you could do the Shibuya whatever bus.
Okay.
And you can pick a hotel that's there, and just it's $40, I think.
Okay.
About $40. Or you just jump on the train.
Oh, okay.
And it's right there.
That's what we did, right?
It's downstairs, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that ride's kind of more expensive, but still not that bad. Probably less than 40. You get to Tokyo, the train station in Tokyo, and then you just jump on the green line and jump off. It's super easy.
Yeah, I totally forgot that whole part of it. I think as soon as we land, I'm just
whoa,
let's go do some fun shit.
All the lights and stuff of the building.
Oh my goodness,
it's intense, dude.
It definitely is. Especially the first time that I ever went, it was such a culture shock, because you see whatever you see online, but that's not even a grain of sand to what it literally is, And if you've seen Tokyo Drift, it's like that on steroids.
Yeah, it can be.
It's so crazy.
It's cool.
And it's dope because the culture there is so nice, and I don't know if I want to say welcoming, but not rude.
Yeah.
In any sort of way.
Hardly rude.
They just let you do your own thing.
Yeah, they're super cool. I remember my first trip. That was such an eye opener for Japan. We landed and we went to Tokyo Station, and we walked outside, and we didn't know where we were staying. And then this girl just walks up, and she's like, "Oh, are you guys lost?"
No way.
And she's like, "Really, I just wanted to practice my English." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." We were talking to her.
No shit.
And then she's like, "Where are you guys staying tonight?" I'm like, we don't know yet. She's like, "Well, everything is booked. Good luck." And we're like, "What?" We didn't have a place to stay. I've done this before when I was younger, right? This is my typical, this is what I would always do. When I traveled Europe, I just didn't ever have any, let's just go to this place and we'll find a place to stay. I'm like, Tokyo's huge. We'll be able to just walk and find a hotel, and everything's booked up.
Yeah.
So she made all these calls and she's like, "Okay, well, 2 miles this way." And we're like, "We'll walk because it'll be a good experience." And then there's this. I got you guys a room. You can stay there.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
no
she
way.
She jumped off the trip with a good head start for us, because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. And then we started making. So then everywhere we wanted to go, we just stayed at the same hotel. It was like a chain. Let's call it what's a hotel?
Marriott
chain?
or whatever.
Yeah, Marriott. Yeah. And then you're just like, all right, well, that Marriott, call the next Marriott to that. We want to go to Osaka now, or
got you.
And then they would book us, and then so we kind of got smart. But
nice, dude. That's crazy. That takes a lot of balls to just be like, yeah, let's just go.
Yeah, that's what I did in Europe though when I was 18, and sometimes we would have to sleep in the train station because we'd fuck up, But it was funny
just to go through those experiences. That's just really carves out who you are as a person.
I like to travel and just. That's why I always tell you guys, dude, I'm down for whatever.
I don't care. I'm down for it too. And I think that's one thing that we really have in common is problem solving abilities.
Yeah.
Because it seems like we're just on the same wavelength, and when we're just with the crowd, we're just like, dude, why don't we just do this. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Or just follow all the people walking. Like, just go and do what they're doing.
Just figure it out, dude.
Figure it out.
Because I figure like experiences like that, it's mostly about the experience and not the destination.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to Japan to go to Tokyo Auto Salon.
No.
Like that's a bonus of it. You know, we go because it's a vacation, go with friends, and just kind of decompress from the year before, all the shit that we went through, you know?
Yeah. It's funny, like when I think of TAS specifically, I don't think about like the cars in their thing. I think about like across the street, there's that really good like,
oh dude, hell yeah,
spot,
yes,
you know. And then I think about like you know, like
fucking
across the street,
asses.
it's called Aeon Shopping Center.
Yeah,
and then on
the
the
little
second
mall joint.
floor, there's that spot with a really good gyutan.
Yeah,
and it's like that's what I think about when I think of TAS, which is really weird. But like, I guess it's like you think about that, it gets you there, and you're like, oh shit, we're gonna see some cool cars too. Great.
Yeah,
you know,
that meal is so good, dude. The one that it's like in a kind of a tomato paste kind of sauce, dude. So bomb, man. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that Ashley was kind of bringing up too. She's like, you know, I really just don't want to be doing car shit all the time. I'm like, no, that's probably not what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah,
because the only car shit I could think of we're gonna do, we'll probably do Auto Salon those 2 days.
2 days.
One day heavy, the second day it's kind of like, all right, we'll just see what we're gonna do, and then from there, whatever. The spoon rave.
Yeah, the rave. Okay.
the spoon rave.
At Type 1, they have a good party that they've done the last couple years, which is pretty fun. So
last year was really fun.
Yeah. And then I'd like to check out the RWB meet
yes,
again,
yes, that one too.
So you can see if any like weird guys that like worship the fucking ground that he walks on.
You know, shout out to RWB. The dude,
shit.
He's made a really, really big name for himself. And when you make a big name for yourself, you have stands that come along with you. If you guys aren't familiar with stands, it's kind of like Eminem's song, Stan, you know? I saw you do the body kit, you know? It's just like, I love you. It's just, these dudes were so... It's not... There was one dude.
That one dude worshipped the fucking ground that he stood on.
It was ridiculous.
And me and Frank and Ryan Higner were like, dude, this guy like will do any sexual act that he possibly could do with Mr.
I don't know his name. I don't know his name, but I mean he's Nakai. So shout out to him. That dude he's living life.
Oh yeah,
you know,
dude,
if you
he's
pay
doing
me
what he loves, it's awesome.
If I get to the point where you pay me to fly out to put bolts on your car, I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. I don't care. You know, I'll have my shit running and then just fly me out. That's awesome. But yeah, that dude came up to us and he was looking at us like we were weird. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna go to the...
Oh yeah, he invited us to go into
the Hard Rock
Hard Rock, where they have it's more like a dinner with Nakai-san, and you can like, you know, hang out with everybody that owns all the RWB cars, which sounds really, really cool. But on the flip side, I was more, you know, intrigued with just seeing the cars themselves, walking around and enjoying the vibe and the cold air. You know what I mean?
Because it sort of gets to like a different level. So you have the level that we're at right here where we'll go to a show, you know, we'll go to a IBOC, we'll go to Week Fest or whatever, and we'll see the same kind of people.
Right.
But then when you start traveling, that list gets a lot smaller, and it takes a lot of dedication to, you know, to actually make that trip happen.
Yeah.
So when we go to these meets like the RWB or the Spoon meet, it's just a lot of the people that have kind of the same passion that you have. So it's nice to go over there to talk to them, and I mean they like it too because it's somebody that they can talk to, they can relate with, because we all kind of have shared experiences or what have you. But when
everybody's traveling from afar too, when you're overseas and you're at these events, a lot of times, well, especially TAS, I mean, a lot of people, like look at Yasu, for instance, he's coming from Osaka. That's 6-hour drive.
That's a drive.
And, or a, 3-hour Shinkansen bullet train. But like, you know, then you got all the guys coming from California, America, you know, Canada.
Yeah,
like everybody's coming from all over the world, you know,
and meeting in this one parking lot. It's pretty crazy.
And then you see the people, you're like, oh dude, like I know him he's from Australia and I've seen him the last 3 years here. And it's like, that's wild, you know.
Yeah,
you're like, well, we meet again, you know. And it's like where we meet again in a foreign land.
It's a cool networking, really cool. And it kind of puts you it kind of makes you understand who these people are. And some of them turn into be like really good people. You meet them and you're like, damn, this person has a really good personality. And then some of them are like those guys that it's like, does this dude really want you to worship him like that?
Yeah,
like that's odd.
I know.
You know what I mean? And that dude had his own business too, and he seemed like he was pretty successful. And I'm like, dude, you could just be cool with the guy. You know, you guys can agree, like, you're a hustler, I'm a hustler, we're doing it, like, oh, cool. You know, that's how I like to make friendships.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, didn't he like approach us in a way where he's like, well, you should know who I am as well. Like,
it was something like that.
Oh, whoa, sorry, man. Like, I'm not like with it enough, I guess, to know all about everybody here, right? But
yeah, I mean, I'd like to know every part of the community. That's why
I think we looked him up, right? We looked him up because we were like, well, we got to see who this dude is because this seems serious. Anyway,
but shout out to that guy.
I don't even know. I don't remember who he was, but he was cool. Anyway, so what else?
It's gonna be a good time, man. I'm super excited about it. I want to actually try another crazy food this time.
Which one?
I don't know.
Just something,
dude.
I could recommend some stuff.
We did the horse, the raw horse. I did the blowfish.
Oh,
you always do the blowfish,
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
like, fuck it, let's risk it all right now. And,
Yeah,
I
you
don't know what else it could be. Maybe like some human or something. I'm down for some brains.
Let's see. They've had some this like raw chicken's a little scary.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm not gonna do the raw chicken.
It's really good though, dude. Oh, fuck. And then I know I didn't try it, but when I was with some other group of guys, Ryan Durr and those dudes, they tried the, what was it? Whale, raw whale. And then we said raw whelp. But yeah, raw whale. I didn't try it. Like, I was down, but I think we're at a sushi place and like I didn't realize that that's what it was that they were grabbing. Like, oh yeah, we tried that.
Really?
Oh shit.
I don't remember that. I would have tried that.
I don't think you were there. That was probably the year before that you and I first went.
Got you.
Yeah.
I would probably try that though. You know what? Fuck it. I'll try the chicken. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
fuck it. That would be another one because I really brag about the horse thing, dude.
yeah. It's not bad, you know. Like, I don't know. All that raw stuff is actually, in my opinion, it's good. I like fish. You know, all the raw fishes and all the.
Yeah. How does the raw chicken thing work? I don't understand that.
I guess it's the way that they. Like, I don't even know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could probably like Siri it, you know.
Yeah.
Google it.
Siri, can you eat raw chicken? No, that's
Only
a stupid question.
You must be crazy.
You must be crazy, but yeah, it's gonna be sick, man. I'm super excited for it. Hopefully, it's not gonna be cold.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cold. But...
It's gonna be cold, but I think the first time that we went, that was really really cool because it snowed then too.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a couple times I've been in Tokyo where it's been snowing. Actually, just all of Japan and riding the trains and stuff, and it's snowing, and that's when they start having a little bit of closures and problems. And yeah, hopefully it's nice. Hopefully it's not too terribly bad. My feet always get way cold though.
Yeah,
because I got my back always hurts.
You got bad bones?
Yeah, I got bad bones, and then like not good blood flow. So my feet always get way cold.
Yeah,
and it's like painful.
There's nothing to help with that?
I don't know, man. Probably alignment in my spine.
No, like clothing?
Nah, like I'll do like a couple layers of socks, warm shoes, and the coldest part of me is always like my toes and my feet.
Really? Just do some Uggs, bro.
I know.
Fuck it, we won't clown you, dog. We'll say he has a disorder, guys. Don't say anything about his Uggs.
Yeah. That would probably be okay. I think.
Yeah, I remember the first time it was a lot colder, but the time that we went last year, it was just like a chilly day.
Yeah.
I've probably felt the same coldness in New York or even here in Oxnard. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But you've been traveling a lot too.
I have been traveling a lot.
After SEMA, you went to Indonesia, right?
Yeah, Indonesia. We did it's called the IMX show, and they kind of, I guess, Mike and I went, Big Mike, and you know, since we were both in that Battle of the Builders thing with the SEMA, they were trying to do something kind of along the same lines.
Gotcha.
And I think, you know, there's a lot of import cars in Indonesia. Like, obviously, you know, it's not much like American Muscle. There's like one guy there that does all the American Muscle cars, but like, it's all Japanese import. So because we were like the Japanese import, you know, Battle of the Builders guys, they reached out to us and was like, yo, come, you know,
Yeah.
like, help judge and do this. So we went to Indonesia. We judged their show, had a really good time, and then we did a layover in Hong Kong. And then we got some food and ate for a few days and walked around and enjoyed the city a little bit. I actually had never been there before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was my first time in Hong Kong.
Nuts, dude.
Yeah. Dude, there's this one spot where you go. I always forget everything, but like you travel to the top of this mountain, and then there's all these huge high-rise buildings, and the high-rise buildings are still taller than the highest peak of the mountain. And you're like looking out in these apartment buildings that are hundreds of stories high, and you're like almost looking into, you can't like see into the hotel, into the rooms or whatever, but it's like, I feel like you're right there. It's crazy, dude.
Was it a foggy day where it's coming out of the fog?
Actually, it was sort of foggy because it was a little bit rainy in areas, and then it cleared up. So yeah, we got like a lot of different views of it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, so we had a good time there. Let's see.
Where else did you travel last year?
Last year
We did Florida.
Yeah.
For IBOC. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We did Philly. We did Philly for IBOC.
Right. I'm so bad at remembering. My brain's always mush. As far as like far places, let's see. Did I do Japan last year? I think so. Oh, we did. We went to Japan last year, and then we did.
Did you guys go on any trip last year?
Me and my girl.
Yeah.
We. Did we?
Yeah, you guys went to like Ireland or something.
Oh yeah. I just got back. See, like my. Yeah. She had me driving for like 5 hours a day for like 10 days straight.
No shit.
It was fun though.
Is it on the right side or?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, right hand side. It's the right hand drive cars.
Yeah.
So I got really good. So if we need to drive in Japan,
no shit,
I'll be the designated driver.
Dude, hell yeah.
You're actually good too, because I remember you were driving Yassi's car for the whole day.
I said, dude, fuck it, man. Let's do it.
I probably did like 2,000 miles.
Wow.
So, and it was like narrow ass roads. Like, dude, check this out. So Ireland, of course, it's very beautiful and like whatever, you know, it's a great place to visit. But man, driving there is wild. So they have posted speed limits, and it's all in, you know, kilometers if you're in Southern Ireland. Northern Ireland's UK, right?
Yeah.
So the speed limits are like 70 miles an hour, like down dirt roads.
No shit.
And then so we actually heard something on the radio about this, that like, you know, either it's really unsafe to drive because the speed limits are not posted properly and all these things. It's like it'll say like 100K, which is like 60, I want to say 62 or something like that. And it'll be like these blind turns.
Oh shit.
And there's buses on the road. So these are probably like old posted speed limits, right? So I'd be booking and I'm like, I'm a really confident driver, but I also don't want to die. And I'm just like, dude, I only feel confident at like 40 going around this with like buses and shit, right? It was crazy, but yeah, we were you know, enjoying it, and like, I would have to kind of regulate that. Hey, the posted speed limits. Normally, you can go 10 mile an hour over a posted speed limit and be like, cool, right? I'm talking if you're like 10 miles an hour under, it's still scary.
Really?
Yeah. So I really like realized, and we heard on the radio that, you know, it was a thing that was going around, and they needed to change all these speed limits and stuff. But
so what took you guys over there?
Well, it's always kind of like my trip when we go places.
Yeah. Like work stuff?
No, yeah, I try to like cycle in some work stuff. Also, like I like traveling like Asian countries. I kind of appreciate that more than
Got you.
Like, you know, I've been to Europe before. Never specifically Ireland, but my girlfriend really wanted to go, and I was like, well, next trip you pick, you know. She's like, I want to go to Ireland. All right, cool. Like,
nice.
You do the trip, and then we'll just like, I'll go.
Just tell me when.
Yeah,
just tell me when.
So she spent a lot of time like figuring out exactly what where we're gonna go, where we're gonna see, how long we're gonna stay in each place, and it was actually like very thought out. Which I told you, normally I'm just like,
let's fuck it,
seat of my pants, let's go. Yeah. So she had it all like strategized, and
that's good. That's good, especially for a new place. You don't want to get somewhere and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And you spend half the afternoon just trying to find a McDonald's or something, you know?
Yeah. I had a couple of people hit me up when I was over there, and they were like, oh, you're in Dublin? Like, I live really close.
No shit.
But then aside from just not really knowing the person and stuff, like we were on such a strict thing that I would have like got the message, then all of a sudden I'm already like driving to the next town.
Yeah. It's nice to meet up with some people, especially like that far. out of the way too, because it just shows you how much that reach that you really have.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the people, they appreciate that kind of stuff. Even like, remember when we went to Age Day and we were at that hotel and we were just hanging out with those like Canada dudes.
Yeah.
That was so tight. And some dude just told me about that the other day. He's like, yeah, I hung out with you at Age Day. I'm like, yeah, I hella remember that.
That's funny, dude.
Because it takes a certain personality to do that. And I think that we have that personality where we're just like, oh, fuck it, whatever. But there's some people that is, I'm not gonna hang out with these people. Who are they? You know, and we're chilling at the hotel and we're just like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And like, oh, these guys are hanging out outside, let's just go bullshit with them.
Go talk to them, see what's going on.
Yeah, it's always good to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it trips me out when people are like, when they're like too appreciative. You're like, hey, I'm normal, dude. I'm just a person.
Yeah, and
that
happened like at SEMA. So we were with Big Mike, and you know, whenever you're with Big Mike, especially at SEMA, fucking the 40-year-old dudes are just taking pictures of him and shit. And we ran into him in the hall, and I'm talking to Mike, and a dude I could see him like right here next to me recording Mike, just like that. Didn't say shit to him, and he's just recording him, and Mike's like talking to me, but I see him.
You could
like,
tell him he's distracted.
Could tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And then finally the dude asked Mike if he could get a picture and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guy, you have to realize that he's just a regular dude. Like, he's just into cars. So whatever your field is in, whatever consumes your life, that's what consumes his life. But he's just made it like more of a hobby than just the general person. Yeah. You know?
It trips me out when like people reach out to me and they want me to, you know, like I went to Australia a couple times, and you know, we did Japan, like for like all just judging, you know. We're gonna Mike and I are actually going again to the UK. You went as well.
Oh yeah.
So for that MIMS one, right? So we're gonna go to MIMS.
Oh, nice.
It's like, you know, I went to what is it called, the island off Guam. I did a thing with this guy Tom, who's a really cool guy. Did an event with him and just judged. And
that was this past year?
No, that was early last year. I don't remember. It was a year-ish ago. Yeah, but it's really cool. Like, I'm surprised that people want like me to come out. And I'm like, really? Are you sure? Wait, you want me to go out there? I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But
so does it kind of give you I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's a weird feeling for that to happen, but do you feel like when they do, you have to do like a really, really good job with them?
Oh, I try to. Yeah,
you try to, right?
Yeah, try my best.
Yeah, because
if I'm gonna go and travel to a place, I mean, like sometimes there's like legal documents that you're signing. Like if you forfeit or fail, and don't make it, or you know whatever, there'll be consequences.
Got you.
So, and I'm like, I think that every time I exceed all I try to exceed all expectations, because I want them to have me back. I don't want people to think like, I remember one of the, I don't want to say too much, but I went and visited one place, and then they were like, man, you're like been our best guest so far.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, really? Like, how so? Well, you didn't like ask for, like, you weren't demanding. You didn't like, you know, I want food at this time. And like, dude, because I'm just here. I'm actually genuinely glad to be where I am. So I just try my best and do my job, because that's what I'm doing when I'm there. Especially if I can't work, I'm not building looms and stuff, right? So I might as well just do what is presented, and if that's to judge the cars, then do the best job you can.
Yeah, right? I think that's a really good way to look at it, because that's the way you get more opportunities if you're that kind of person, because now you've actually given them a scale. Right. This dude, he has, you know, so much popularity, and this dude does too, but when we hired this dude, he was a dickhead. And then this dude, he was like super appreciative. So when it comes back to the time again, like, who are you gonna have? Yeah, of course you're gonna have the dude that was like welcoming and excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because no matter what point that you get to in your career or what, you have to understand that like this is still a business. This is a business transaction, and these people are taking a risk to even have you at their event or ship out your car or whatever, you know, and you want them to get the best out of it too. And that kind of that's that's what I want to try to do too. You know, when we have those opportunities, I want to give the people the most that they can. Like when we just went to Mexico for that show out there in Mexico, you know, for the imports war.
I saw that.
I went with Jimmy from Envious.
Yeah.
And when I went over there, you know, I wanted to walk around. I didn't want to have a booth. They told me, yo, you could bring some stuff to sell. But I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do that right now. You know?
That's like, they always kind of, or a lot of the people offer that up. Like, hey, bring all your stuff. And like, maybe I'll bring like 1 or 2 things, or maybe I'll just bring a banner.
Put something in my backpack or whatever.
I had one guy, super cool. He was like, well, I can't really like, you know, pay you much, but can I use your logo to make a shirt? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So he makes a shirt. And then he sells it. Yeah. And then he's like, here's your profits. Like, oh really? Shit, I made like $450 without even like, okay, well that'll pay for my, well, he covered all my expenses, but it's like something. Yeah. And I was super grateful for that.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's good. And that gives a good look to the Honda community too, you know, because a lot of people look at you as like one of the leaders of the Honda community, and rightfully so. You know, you've put in your work, and you've been through it all. And for somebody like you to be representing us, that's a good thing. You know, it's not that kind of thing where when people first meet you, you're telling them everything that you've done. You know, and we get that shit too. Like even I won't even mention the guy, but at SEMA, we knew how many subscribers he had before we knew his name. I'm like, oh, okay, dude.
All right. Now, didn't that happen at TAS too? It did.
It wasn't SEMA. It was TAS. It was TAS. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We were like, dude, you know, we're all people here, and you don't have to like whip out your dick so fast.
Exactly, dude. You know? There's a reason why we're here, and there's a reason why you're here. You know, this isn't SEMA, or this isn't a show
it's not right
back
down
in the
street.
States. Yeah. This is like kind of a hub for everybody in the world who the passion is more to them than just a hobby. You know, this is a lifestyle. This is a job. Like we're all here. You don't have to.
If you're clearly from the States and I see you at TAS, you're not just like Joe Schmo. You actually care to be there. One, it's not like, oh, I just got off of work and there's a meet down the street. So I'm just gonna like stop by. No, like you're taking the initiative and, you know, spending good money. Well, it depends on, you know, if you're $1,200. But anyway, spending good money, you're, you know, making a commitment to being there. You're obviously getting tickets. You're figuring out how to get to the actual event. You are walking around talking to people. There's a reason why those people are there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't walk around thinking that people are just like these people are probably industry people, you know?
Yeah. And I think that we do a really good job at like talking to other industry people without the whole, you know, the dick thing. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I want to get to know you as a person to see how you got to that point. Yeah. I don't want to fucking shout out from you. No. I don't need that shit. You know, it's not like I don't need it where it wouldn't benefit me, but it's like I just met you. I'm not going to be asking for shit from you. And I want to know what kind of person you are, because maybe in the future we can work together, but not after when I first meet you. It's like, oh, this is one of the biggest automotive vloggers or whatever ever. And I'm like, if you are, I never heard of you. So
yeah, and congrats, and that's dope.
That is, like, it takes a lot of work.
But like nobody's over here saying what they've done. You know what I mean? We're just here. Oh, good to meet you. Like
eating cold food.
Yeah, friend of a friend. Cool. You know. Then I'd love to meet everyone. Yeah. But like, yeah, if you're telling me about what you've done, I'm like, great, cool. All right, on to the next guy.
Yeah, when there's definitely a time and place for all that stuff. Yeah, for sure. You meet mostly when I meet people, I'll tell them my name, and I don't really just go into Downstar off the bat. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of weird to me. It's just like, maybe I should, maybe I don't know. But to me, I like to meet people person to person first. And then you kind of figure it out, because I've met people and I didn't know what they did. And I'm just like, oh, this dude's a fucking cool ass dude.
Yeah. And then you hear maybe something after and you're like, wow.
Oh, that was you that did that? Oh, that's cool. You know, but then if you meet somebody and you're just like, nah, that's already a bad
start.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard. I'm not blaming the dudes at all, because when you have these thousands, hundreds of thousands of people like commenting on your shit, everything you do, it's just blowing up. That has to just get to your head. Yeah. And it takes a lot to not let it get to your head. But I think once you lose your the reason why you started it in the first place, that's kind of where things start going awry, and you're just like,
Yeah. When you can see through that, it's never good.
yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to eating a lot of places. Ashley's been bringing up a lot of places that are like crazy food spots and stuff.
Yeah, so we'll have to leave Ryan Hagner like at McDonald's. Be like, okay.
She's not the biggest in seafood either.
Yeah.
But what she does like, she likes ramen too.
Yeah.
So that's gonna help out because a lot of places just have ramen. You know, like katsu ramen or gyoza or something like that. You know, we'll be good. But dude, I want to fucking grub, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
About that. But so I was telling you earlier that we've seen you on a lot of podcasts and a lot of media lately, and it's been more than before.
Yeah.
So what's making you go for this push to kind of put yourself out there a little more than before?
Good question. I think that people around me have kind of given me a little bit of a push, like one of them being yourself. Just, you know, like not be as closed door about everything. Just little stuff. Like I used to not really share a lot of detail about like my business or how, you know, construction, even something as easy as just construction on a wire loom, you know, like how it's built and
the behind the scenes,
you know, you know, not everybody wants to just be like, here, this is how everything is made and this is how we do it. And this is like, I've never been one to like, I've always been one to kind of keep some of those things back.
Now, what do you think that was? Because you don't want somebody to kind of copy the way you're doing it?
I think what it is the competition of, somebody copying me or just knowing how something is done. Or I've always been pretty like shy about that, like, you know, giving too much info.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's pros and cons to all that. And I think something as simple as like, wire harness construction or, you know, how it's made and the insides of it per se. Also with my business, you know what I mean? Like I'm not as like, you don't see me on Instagram doing videos of my face very often. Yeah. But I've been making more appearances.
No, you definitely have
worldwide, with, you know, certain media outlets like Hoonigan has been a big one.
Yeah. Shout out to Nads.
Yeah, John Nads. He actually, you know, had been reached out to me. Like he was reaching out to me a lot about, you know, trying to get the Integra on there. And I was like, no, I don't really want to do it. And it was nothing to do with Hoonigan specifically. It was more just me not really like wanting to be in that spotlight kind of. Yeah. I never. I don't know if you know this, but I don't like to go and physically present a car at a car show that's being judged. I just never really felt that that's something that I wanted to do. Yeah. I never want to try to, I always felt like I never had to explain myself because I've always been a person where like, I don't really do advertising, right? Because I let it speak for itself. Yeah. So honestly, I let my work speak for itself. I try to let, my business just, baby steps, Seinfeld,
organically,
organically, grow and just like let it just build naturally. And it's funny because I'm like a marketing major, non-graduated. I took a lot of marketing classes when I went to college. So, and I'm like anti-marketing. I like don't like to put my brand out there. I like to just have it speak for itself. It works. People come back. They organically, like you said, tell people. And I never been big with pushing. And I guess, there's been some structural changes in my business and stuff like that. And there's also, things like competition, etc. And I think that media and letting people, give details on how things work and presenting videos and showing people, and the more that you could just put it down their throats, it does work, you know? So I'm doing a little bit more conscious of an effort of that.
Hell yeah, dude. And it's definitely working. Like we've had this conversation even over a year ago, you know, and from then to now, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
And one reason that I wanted to bring all that stuff up to you is because I know your personality and I know your passion, and that's like a real attractive thing to have. And a lot of people out there, it would motivate them, especially if they heard stories from your earlier days and how you started. Like I seen all that because I was growing with you.
Yeah.
You were growing on a different level, but I seen you become Ryan from like ship me a wiring harness and I'll change the sensors and then ship it back,
right,
to like what it is today, doing Lambo looms and just being at the elite level of what you do.
Yeah, I mean, and what I do, like if you understand the basics of sensors and engine management system, it doesn't matter what quote unquote air pump you have connected to it, because all it is it's a device that's combustion engine, and it's an air pump, and it has sensors that monitor and see where positions are, whether it's rotating or air coming into the cylinders, temperatures and pressures, and that's all it is. So if you have an understanding of that, it kind of doesn't matter what kind of car it is. Or what kind of engine it is, or who manufactures it. You're literally looking at it as a coil. What kind of coil is it? Is it a smart coil, a dumb coil with a CDI, etc.? What kind of an injector is it? High impedance, low impedance? What kind of a temperature sensor is it? Is it fluid or air? You know, like it's so actually kind of basic when you break it down. And then if you understand the engine management, which is the, you know, the ECU, and you have an understanding of how that works, then you just build the loom, and then it's all about construction and how it's made. And you know, you got your high radio frequency, like, you know, knock sensor, and then there's a plane, you know,
the plane
overhead
sensor
is the high RF.
These are good mics,
but you know, you got noisy sensors, right? And you got to know how to like suppress some of that RF noise, and a little bit of construction and twisting up the wires and making it look pretty, and then you got a loom. Like that's all kind of is. There's obviously a lot of other stuff, but once you kind of like get an understanding of, oh, well, if it's really just that easy, then throw anything at me. It's not going to phase me, because it's all the same stuff. Maybe just more of it. Yeah,
but your passion for all of it is just so apparent. You know, whenever you start speaking about wiring and such, you can tell that that's your thing. That's what you pay attention to, and that's what excites you and keeps you motivated. And I think that's something that needs to be shown a lot more. And you've been showing it too, especially with all the cars. You'll be on the story and showing what you'll be at Hoonigan's, just helping them wire up some stuff.
Yeah, those guys have reached out to me a lot. I think it's funny because we've done a lot of our clients and, you know, friends and etc. have been on the show. So then, you know, you keep seeing this familiar like wire loom. Oh, I keep seeing that with that connector and the little Rywire tag, and like so everybody knows me there now. I'm like, oh, dude, we got a project, this project, that project, whatever. So I've been like kind of helping them a lot. And they're kind of a client now too, which is really cool. So, and to be honest, like that shit's rad when it's something at that level, and you know, like to be able to get the reach that they can provide you, and really you're just doing what you love to do anyway, and you're just like, you know, working with them, and they're cool ass dudes, and they have, like I said, a reach of 1,000,000 hands. Like, fuck, dude, they can capture so many potential clients, just cool individuals. And you know, like I'll be walking around and people will go, oh, like I know you from Hoonigan. And I go, and I go, which episode?
Nice.
You know?
Hell
and
yeah.
Like, dude, there's this ice cream shop right by my shop, right? And like guy knew that we do cars, you know. He's like, oh, what's up? And then he kind of like, oh, what's up, Ryan? You know, whatever. Because I would always just get like like when people come to visit, I go and get a bunch of ice cream and bring it to the shop and go, oh, hey, you eat ice cream, you know. And then you know, dude's like, hey, my brother saw you on the YouTube. Like, you guys had like a crazy, you know, white whatever. And I'm like, which one? Like, cause I'm like thinking, well, the Civic's white. Like, it's like a S2000. Crazy one. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you guys built that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, damn, dude, that shit's sick. You know? I'm like, okay, cool. You know? And then so now it's like when I see him, he's like, oh, Ryan, what's up? Like, it's a little bit more like, oh, okay, I know this dude from the internet now, you know. So yeah, we get a little bit like we were walking around Hong Kong, me and Mike, and some dude's like, hey, you guys on the Chronicles? And he's
No
like, Big
shit.
Mike and Ryan. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, dude? He's like, damn, what are you guys doing here? I'm like, what are you doing here?
No shit.
He's like, oh, I'm visiting family. I'm like, we're visiting fucking Hong Kong.
That's wild, dude. That's so cool, man. And it just takes those small relationships that you make. Because I'm sure this came from Nads, right? The Hoonigan stuff.
Yeah. So John was the first person that I knew. Nads, John Nadiri. He was the first person that I really met over there. And then a lot of the staff is into cars. A lot of them actually aren't into cars, but a lot of them are into cars. And they have projects and stuff like that. And, they just reach out. And then it's like John's hitting me up. Hey, do you know any good cars? Like, let me know if you guys got anything that I could put on. Yeah. Because they always want content. Their content.
They have to. They're content creators all day.
It's all about content. And so John may reach out to 100 guys that he knows are going to bring cool shit. So then I got a couple cars right now where I'm like trying to get these guys to bring their cars. Yeah. Some of them don't care, dude. Like I work with clients that some of them are pretty high end. Like some guys are pretty rich.
Yeah.
Not all of them, of course. But like I'll work with some dudes that have, $500,000 like little race cars. And I'm like, dude, this whole thing is a fabbed car. Yeah. Like this is wild. Bring this on the Hoonigan and let them, and then they'll be like, owners of big businesses, and they're like, I don't really want like that kind of
recognition.
Yeah, like they don't want to be like, they would even probably send somebody else to do the car interview because they wouldn't want to be even associated with it.
Oh, really?
With what they do, they may be like doctors and lawyers and stuff.
Got you.
And they're car guys, but they don't want to be like harassed on the street. Like, oh, dude, you have this kind of car and it's really dope. And
there's a lot of people that just want to play the background of things, which is perfectly fine.
And that used to be me a little bit more so. I was like, I enjoyed what I was doing, and I didn't really want to be on the foresight of like, I didn't want to walk down the street and have somebody be like, I know who you are. You have a cool car or something. I was more like, I want to just do my thing. And sometimes when I go to events, like you get kind of like that whole like mic thing you were talking about where somebody's like sitting and taking a picture of you. I'll like look and be like, oh, like double check. And I'm actually kind of shy if I don't know the person. Yeah. So then people might be like, oh, that guy's a jerk, or whatever, because he didn't like acknowledge whatever. But now I'm trying to make a little bit more conscious of an effort. Like if I see out of the corner of my eye that somebody's like very much like eye fucking me. Hey, what's up, man? Like, nice to meet you. And then he's like, whoa, oh shit, what's up? And then like, hey, could I like talk to you? Can I ask you a question? Can I take a picture? Sure. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
hell yeah,
no
man.
problem.
That's good, bro. That's good that you're making those moves, because with a successful person, that's what it takes to realize that there's opportunity, and you take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and I did realize that, like, I was never trying to be an asshole, but I also realized that if you're that person that jumps out and just like with your hand out, like, hey, I see you there, nice to meet you. I just wanted to shake your hand. Like, oh, dude, whoa, he's like, that was super cool. If I just said, oh man, this is really awkward, like this guy's looking at me and I'm just gonna go walk the other direction, which I've done a million times. Yeah, that person's like, damn, like that guy's probably kind of a dick. Yeah, when I'm not, I'm just kind of shy, actually.
No, yeah, definitely, and rightfully so. I mean, if I was going to talk to somebody that I admired and they treated me like that, like, I'm not looking to have a sit down with you, bro. Just like a 30-second convo. Oh, what's up, man? Yeah. And maybe take a picture or something like that. That's it. And then after that interaction, I'm fucking rocking with that dude. Oh yeah, the whole time.
Like, and I get that now, and that's not the reason why I'm doing it per se. It's just I have to understand that guy that you can tell like wanted some kind of an interaction. I'm gonna try. At least try.
And that's good, man. That means a lot.
And if he wasn't even trying to talk to me or whatever, then I'm not. I mean, I just have to understand that. Hey, I met somebody else. I met a new person.
Definitely.
And I busted out of my bubble a little bit, right? So I got that shyness out of me, and that's baby steps to being more social.
Not even with business, just in life.
Yeah, in life.
That's such a good thing to help you out with.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I say about the podcast. You know, no matter where the podcast goes, this skill is going to help me out in the future.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be talking to potential clients or just networking or even just meet somebody at the grocery store or something like that. You know, I put it on myself every time that I interact with something. I always ask them how they're doing, just because I want them to feel more of a human than just like somebody that's scanning my stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
And
true.
I want them, no matter what's going on in their day, to feel like, oh, at least this dude wasn't an asshole like the dude before me.
And then I bet you anything that you're going to say yes. But when we go to Japan and when you're done and you've left Japan, like you bring that nice politeness with you back to the States.
And it's really unfortunate when you land in the States, you know that you're in the States because the first interaction you have is like
whack,
dude,
right?
why are you being a dick off the bat, you know?
Right. Like I remember when we were doing I was with like Joey and Durr and like everybody, we were doing like all the guys were doing all the concho stuff, you know, like all the no good racing, all the stuff they're doing. Like they did this like big meet. It was definitely before you came.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
though.
so you saw that coverage.
I think it was like the year before.
Yeah, year before. So like it was fucking cold that year. But we went out and had a meet at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And like all the conjo cars came and they basically just like shut down the street, right? The cops came because they were like, what's going on? So like all these cops came and on the loudspeakers they're saying, please and thank you. They said, please disperse the, you know, thank you so much. Thank you for doing what, you know, we're asking of you. And then they're just like, yeah, fuck you. You know? But it's like, dude, the cops are not like, we would have been shut down, like barricaded in.
They would have blocked all exits and everybody would have got a ticket.
Gotten, like,
quick.
Like, and everybody would have gotten ticket or worse, right? So, but they're saying please and thank you. Like, wow, the cops are like not busting us, but trying to break up this little like thing. And they're like, please and thank you. Thank you for being so, you know.
If I would have been there, I would have kind of felt like I was being rude. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like a lot of those dudes are kind of thug, dude, compared to what, you know, American style, probably not as much, but for Japanese culture, those dudes are pretty like kind of hardcore.
Yeah, I think it comes from them growing up like that. Yeah. But still, they're still humans, of course. And there's still a side of them that's just like rebellious, or you know, I don't want to listen to authority or what have you. But it's a lot more apparent there because it happens way less than here, than just like pretty much everybody's like, fuck them, fuck this, fuck that, or whatever, you know. Even when we went last year and we saw the guys in the motorcycles just driving around, like, what are you doing? But that's their way of expressing.
Yeah, they were like, those guys were like wilding out for sure. Like they were like I don't know if that dude's ever done anything that crazy in his life, but he just decided to like rev his motorcycle. And really, you know,
and they were just going at it.
Yeah, he was definitely on his rebellion stage of his life. Those guys that were driving around.
But it's definitely cool to be to know that the guys that you're hanging out with, you're in good hands.
Yeah, you're in good hands, and you you know, I got plenty of stories, but we can't get into that.
That's probably the most we'll talk about that. Shout out to all the Japanese homies out there. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take a break right now, guys. So make sure drop some comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you would like to see from the podcast, any questions that you have coming forward. And Ryan, he'll be in the comments, so if you have any questions for Ryan, just throw him a comment and we'll go from there. But we'll be back in one sec, guys. All right, guys, so we're back. So we were talking about your the work that you've been putting in on social and you know, and personally just talking to people and interacting and going in that way. And I just wanted to commend you on that, dude. I've seen that you put a lot of work into that. And no matter if it's not about followers, it's not about comments and things like that. It's just about putting that energy out there. Right. And maybe in a few years, you'll hear somebody that is inspired by that.
I get it a lot. You know, like, oh man, like more of this content. You know, this inspires me to get my car done. This inspires me to do certain things.
And
So
that's one
I see it.
reason why I wanted to do this podcast, and especially with you, is because I know the background of your story, and it is inspirational, but it's not something that was so out of the realm that somebody else couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah,
No
for
disrespect.
sure.
You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like there was something that you were born with, or something that you must have learned early on that would have brought you to this path that you're on now. So if you want to touch on something like that,
Yeah, for sure.
kind of make people understand where we got to this point that we're at now.
Right. So, I mean, like, kind of like yourself, you know, you early on, like, I didn't live super, super comfortable in the sense, like, you know, my parents made very little money. My mom struggled with a business that she was kind of starting, doing like gift baskets and stuff. And she had like a little store, and it never,
No way.
never really made it. Right. My dad was a contractor, with a master's degree in history. So he could
No
have been
way.
he could have been a history teacher, but he really kind of just, I don't know if, and I don't want to say he took the easy way out or whatever, but he just there was no job for him. You know, he didn't have anyway. So he was doing, you know, handyman kind of services. My mom had her little gift basket business, and we, you know, everything. It didn't really, like, if she had social media now, it might be a little different. You know?
Yeah,
Like maybe
I could just imagine back in the day how
Dude,
hard
like,
it. You probably have to
yeah.
do like penny saver and shit.
Yeah, she had like a storefront. Like
Yeah.
people would walk in, and I would, you know, be sitting on the floor playing when I'm like a little kid, and she's like, oh, hi, you know, welcome, and people looky-loo, and anyway, so I could only imagine how difficult that was. So, you know, my parents, they didn't have much money. I always got kind of like, what is it called? Like, you know, when you're in school, you get little grants and stuff like that. You know, I paid less amount of money for my food, for my lunches.
Got
in school.
you, like reduced lunch and
Reduced
stuff like
lunch.
that.
Like,
Got
we
you,
qualified for all those like lower income kind of things. So then I always wanted money, you know, like to do my own thing. I want to go skateboard, and I want to have like $5 for lunch.
Now,
you know?
what age was this that you realized what the significance of money really was?
I think it was probably in like the 4th and 5th grade when I was selling pencils. So I had this thing where there was a pencil machine at my school, and all the kids would put their quarters in and try to get a pen. I don't remember if it was 50 cents. Let's call it 50 cents, right? Put in 2 quarters, you get a pencil. There's like the girl themed ones that are like rainbows and stars and hearts and shit like that. And then there was like the boy themed ones that were all like football stuff. So it was all the football teams. So these kids would trade, right? Like, oh, your team's this one, I'll trade you pencils, da 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 da. It got to the point where, you know, girls are trading with guys, getting their pencils, and everybody's using pencils. So you could, like, in class, it's like this, it's almost like having cool jeans or a hat or something. It's like, oh, dude, you got the 49ers pencil.
Yeah.
Like, and then so kids, like the richer kids, would pay a couple bucks, like, oh, dude, you have the Raiders.
I'll give you $1.
Yeah, I'll give you $1 for that one. And it turned into like kind of stupid, like the San Francisco 49ers one, because I was in the Bay Area, Monterey, Pacific Grove, actually, technically, and they $15 was how much a kid was willing to spend. Yeah. And then like the Raiders one was like 5 or 10, or I don't know,
for a
but
pencil.
Like, yeah, but the
Oh,
the
wow.
football ones were at least $1 a pop, and then if you had the whole collection, it was like, how did you get it, right?
Yeah.
So like I was in the store, and I was like looking for school supplies, and I found the pencils. I'm like, holy shit, $4 can buy me the whole lot, right?
Way.
So then I got smart. I'm like, I'm gonna buy like 2 packs of these. I think I had like, or maybe I asked my parents, oh, I could sell these, whatever. So I was selling them at school, like $1 a pencil, and then like, oh, even the 49er one. It turned into baseball cards. Like, what condition is it in? How do these look? Like, it was weird. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was like Pogs.
That's
it was like, you know,
crazy.
this whole thing that
Pencils.
But it
I
was
never heard of
earlier
that
on.
one.
So it was just niche to our school because we
Gotcha.
had that. So I was selling them. I was making money, and I would use that money and go buy another pack, and then it would fade out. Like, oh, okay, fuck, you know, like nobody's into it anymore. It is what it is. And then a few years later, I started making these finger skateboards. You remember CCS, California Cheapskates?
Yeah.
So they used to have, like, do you remember looking through those little catalogs?
and it
they
showed
had
all the decks.
boards, all the decks, right? So I went to, I was friends at the skate shop, the local skate shop. He was like, he kind of pseudo like sponsored us a little bit. And then so I would get grip tape slices, and then I'd go to the blind store, and they'd be like, you got broken blinds? So like, hell yeah, we got broken blinds. And then I would make these little fingerboards before like the actual legit fingerboards came out. So I was making those. And then me and one of my buddies, we had like a good modem. It wasn't even fast, but it was like 56K or something. It was like fast for what it was back at the time. And then we would take orders and we'd burn CDs for people. 15 bucks, like $1 a song. You get 15 songs on a disc.
Oh shit.
And I mean, that doesn't sound like much, but
no, that was my hustle back in the day.
Yeah, you do that.
The CD shit.
And then I was doing, there's other stuff. What else did we do? Oh, okay. So then things got a little bit more serious. We started, I had to make a business to not to graduate, but it was like a thing. You could go one way, write this crazy ass paper or make a business. So I made a business called me and my buddy, Gauge Tech.
Okay.
Check it out, .com. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely
link in bio.
So yeah, this was actually before the Indiglo gauges came out. So this is far back.
That was before my time.
It was way before your time, probably.
Yeah.
So Indiglo gauges killed our business. But anyway, let me tell you what happened. So I went to the junkyard and I would like either, come up on or buy some, gauge clusters, and I'd break out the faces. And then I was interested in computer graphics a little bit at that time. So this was probably like, I don't remember, this could have been high school. I think senior-ish high school.
Okay.
So then had a teacher and she was like doing this, what is it called? Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, yada, yada, yada. So I take these gauges and in school, I'd scan them on the computer. I'd make them white. I do like vectored, the Illustrator, like kind of drawing over them so they're all crisp.
Yeah.
And then make them white, change the red line. Maybe I'd put like, a company name on it, which I probably shouldn't have had. Whatever. And then I would sell them on eBay.
Wow.
Right. Also, my side hustle was like selling as much shit as I possibly could on
whatever.
And I was working at a golf course, and there'd be like these lost and found stuff, and I'd buy bags and I'd sell part out clubs, dude. Like find people. I remember this guy. I'm like completely change the subject, but he had like all these Playboy magazines, like years and years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So I would just like put them into year ranges, and I'd sell them in lots on eBay.
No shit.
Dude, like I make cool money, like good money. And then I like ripped all these little service manuals. There were all it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Service manuals, car like CRX, like
the helms or whatever.
Like the helms.
Okay.
It was probably so fucking not what I shouldn't have done that. But I'm making like $1,000 a month on the side just on this one disc, you know. And then like a service manual and like a this and that and whatever the hell I could sell. So the Gauge Tech thing, we actually we'd scan them, we'd sell them on eBay, and there'd be these white overlays, and you kind of put them in. You kind of have to like go around the needle, and everything didn't work perfect. Sometimes you have to like slice it and
put it over, and then
I don't know.
Got you.
We would just kind of, who knows? They were like $15, so you get what you pay for. But it was a working, legitimate business. Like to a very low capacity. We had like one dealer, and he was like the nearest by like performance shop. He'd buy like 2 at a time or something and put it in his display case.
Shit.
And then maybe we sold 100 sets.
What year was this?
Like
01 maybe?
No. Earlier? No. Yeah, maybe like 01. Maybe something like that, because I got into cars like hard, more crazy like in 99, 98, 99. So this was probably around there. Could have been like 2000.
Gotcha.
Whatever. So we actually went, and at school we actually what am I trying to say? There was a competition. So we actually made it to like the state, level.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So not only did we like graduate and do all this, we actually exceeded and got, the craziest thing is that there was a girl that beat us, and she had her own little business thing, and this was like at the state level for it was called like Young Entrepreneurs or something like that. And the chick's business was my mom's business.
No
it was
way.
Gift baskets that beat us. And I could understand that, these people probably couldn't even wrap their heads around why you'd put white faced things on your car.
It's such a niche thing.
It's so niche, and like a 40-year-old woman that likes to knit, and a man that has no hair and you know, hates his day job, is judging that, why would you put these white faces on the car?
It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. So like, but it just tripped me out because she won, and like, that's my mom. And then we found out that was her mom's business as well. So she just like, you know, rewrote that.
Yeah.
That was super frustrating because like we were so into it. Like, yeah, we're gonna like do stuff with this. And
now, did you tell them like that it's an actual business?
Yeah, we like said that we've sold on eBay, and we have a website that you can like do like a PayPal kind of purchase or whatever, right? It was like really simple, nothing like what we kind of have with our site nowadays, but you know, it was like a page and you could like click and buy. Anyways, so that was cool, and that's kind of how it kickstarted me. I ended up losing my job at the golf course, and that kind of kickstarted me again to do my own thing. So I did have a couple little jobs in high school and, you know, getting out of college and stuff like that, where I was working for other people, but I could tell that I wasn't about it.
So what were those, some of those jobs?
Well, me and my friend tried out to be like a rec center kind of a worker in the city of Monterey.
Got you.
And I didn't really want to go, but I just went, and then I ended up getting the job and he didn't.
Oh,
like,
shit.
But I needed the money, so I took the job. And
like a Boys and Girls Club or something like that?
So there's this place called Dennis the Menace Park in Monterey.
Oh, shit, that's a dope name.
Dude, it's wild. Kids cracking their head open like every day because it was like scary, dangerous.
Oh, shit.
They had these like big trains and bridges and crazy ass like slides that will launch you, and like,
oh wow,
you can get hurt there. Trust me.
Way.
Like almost every day there'd be an ambulance there of some sort. So they need people to like watch the park. And then that was only during summer.
Just a public park.
But then they needed people. Like there was 4 people working there at one time. They had all these little stations, and we had radios, and because it was
we got another one.
We got a leaker. We got a crack school. It was bad, dude. So then they, you know, we were there. I was working there with, you know, that group for the summer, and then I got a job at like after school kind of like daycare thing.
Yeah.
Just playing with kids and helping them with their homework and stuff like that. That was for the city of Monterey. And then the golf course, you know, like I played golf in school.
Oh, okay.
I was on the golf team in high school because like Monterey, dude, you can play golf at a links course. I'm talking like, you know, $100 to $600 a round for like free, basically.
No way.
And they'll give you golf clubs.
Wow.
So you could be like, I'm like homeless, let's say.
Yeah.
And you go to a club one day, and they'll just give you a bag of clubs, and then they'll be like, you got 50 cents, you can like, they just wanted it, like, you know, like dollar cars, they have to show some kind of a transaction. So they'd be like, oh, well, we'll let you on at these hours, like the off hours, and you could play golf until it gets dark for a $1.
I wonder if that has to do with like some corporate stuff, because I remember when I worked at Best Buy, if we didn't spend this certain amount of money, then the next year our budget would be lower for whatever.
It could be write-off stuff. Yeah. It could be write-offs. But I think that Pebble Beach Company is a really, really big company that makes a lot of money. And I think that they just give back to the community.
Oh, okay.
And so they have this community program for kids. So I actually got into golf a good amount because of that. And I got to be pretty good. Like our golf team was kind of no joke. There was like scratch golfers on it.
Gotcha.
And I was always like on the bubble, like 7th, 8th to 10th best golfer. So I would play. It got me out of school sometimes.
Nice.
It was kind of fun. So I was working at the golf course for a while, and I thought maybe I have a career here, you know, and realized I don't, you know, I didn't love it as much. It's not like the car thing is like passion, right?
Yeah.
Golf is like, this is fun.
Yeah.
You know? So 2 different things. And I knew I'd never be pro, or I'd never be like that good. You could just tell sometimes, right? So then I started like getting a little bit more serious, and I had money because there's that, and I'm doing all these things on the side. And I decided that I was gonna mod my CRX. Mm-hmm. So my uncle, our family's weird, don't talk a lot anyway. So my uncle was a CRX guy, which is really crazy.
Oh shit.
And he's an old white dude, right? So he had a CRX, and it was an SI, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a B16 and da 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 da, and he was all into it. Yeah. So he got me into it, and he actually took me to CR Expo 99 at Laguna Seca.
Wow. And like 99, dude. Yeah. That's insane.
So
that was so long ago.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking 20 years ago.
Wow.
So I went to CR Expo 99, and guess who I met there?
CR Expo 99.
Who did I meet?
Had to be fucking like one of those OGs or
Who-
something.
Who's like the OG that makes shit happen, that basically like makes it able to put any engine that you want in any.
Oh, fucking Brian.
So I ran into Brian. I met
Brian
Brian
Gillespie from Hasport.
So Brian G was there, and I remember I was like, dude, this dude's doing a swap in the parking lot. Like his his whole thing was like he wanted to show people how easy it was to use his mounts. You know, there was like place racing at the time, but Hasport
where was this
like,
at again?
This was at Laguna Seca.
Oh, so that's like kind of by Bakersfield. Is that where
A little bit
like
more?
that?
Like,
Okay,
it's like Monterey.
Got you.
Monterey,
Okay.
Seaside, Salinas, like that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we were at Laguna, and you know, it was like in the parking lot of Laguna. It was like the CR Expo, and then if you had a car and you wanted, like, I think it was free. You could just drive around the track and stuff, and it was a neat little event. I actually had a CRX, but it was a first gen, and it was like a DX carbureted, and I was trying to
the first gen one.
Yeah,
Looks like a Lego kind of.
Yeah, it's like the same era as my Civic, right? It's
Yes,
like a third gen Civic,
86 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a 84 to 87. So I had a first gen, and you know, I always wanted a second gen. You know, my uncle had a second gen SI all blacked out, and it was dope, and he brought me there, and we drove in the car, you know, in his car, and he kind of got me into it. And it's funny enough, like he'll reach out to me every now and then and be like, hey, so you really like still into this shit? Yeah? But the funny thing is that he is. And
still
the other day, not the other day, this is like 2 years ago, but you know, Black Tracks, you know, Black Tracks. So this is in San Jose. One of my buddies works there.
Okay.
And he texts me, he's like, hey Ryan, there's this dude Charlie that says he's your uncle, and he's like laughing, and I'm like, oh, my Uncle Charlie. Yeah. No, that's legit though. He's like, oh dude, we're building his S2000.
No way.
Yeah, it's like dude, it's all raced out, and you get takes to the track and shit like that.
Do you find it funny that he doesn't like reach out to you?
Yeah. And then I'm like, what did you sell him? He's like, oh, AEM Series 2. Like, I'm like, damn, I probably could have gone.
Come on, Unc, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's super funny, dude. And they're like, yeah, we're like fucking wiring in this and doing that.
Wow. So he took you to the expo in 99.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, Brian's just in the parking lot, like testing out his product, or?
Yeah, he had a booth. He had a booth.
Oh, okay.
And like
oh shit.
Dude, they even raffled off a car.
In 99.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude. And like, I wanted to stay because I was like, dude, I got a ticket and there's only like a couple hundred people here.
I got a chance.
And I wanted to go home with a CRX, you know, with a second gen. There was a second gen. It was like modded. I don't know. They had a B16 in or something. Yeah. It was crazy. Like,
wow.
Maybe my memory's a little rough, but I believe that was exactly.
We're definitely gonna have to ask him about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him next time I see him about that. So, yeah, it was wild. And then you know, time went on, and like we got a little bit more serious in the CRXs, and then I ended up, you know, linking up with some of those guys, and like shit, I was even running that for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, the CR Expo.
That's right. Wasn't it somewhere like in Canada or something, or Niagara Falls, or or is that a different one?
It's a different one. Oh, okay. That's the end meet.
Oh, okay.
It's a Niagara meet, and they're like 20 plus years deep in that shit.
Damn.
And I've been like 5-6 times.
Okay, so it was the CR Expo that you were helping with.
CR Expo NorCal.
Got you.
And then there was one overseas in the like, I think it was like Amsterdam area.
Has that morphed into something totally different nowadays?
I don't even know.
Not the one in Amsterdam, the one here.
No, oh, the one here?
Yeah.
Nah, it dropped off. A couple of the guys just like guys and girls. So my friend Noah, Jade, and Nikita and myself were all kind of running this CRX thing. This guy, the other dudes kind of dropped off and like handed over the reins.
Got you.
And then we, you know, kind of started getting out of it a little bit. But so here, let me talk about a little bit so that CRX thing kind of like organically grew me into my business because I was doing a lot of dual point and multi-point.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I got into college and I had a professor because I took a little like just a shop class at Monterey Peninsula College. Okay.
Like an elective or some shit?
Yeah. It was like just to get some credits, whatever, just general ed stuff. I was like, oh, cool. I can do like shop as one of them. So then this guy, his name's Will, and he was the professor, the teacher, whatever, and he was a Honda technician. We were like, oh, dude, everybody wants to take the class with Will because he's the Honda technician, and if you're a Honda guy, this and that. So he saw something in me that was like, man, this dude has a lot of passion for these cars and stuff. He's like, how about you don't do anything in the books? Nothing. I know you want to do a B16 in your CRX. Why don't you just go visit Steve at H Motors?
Shut up.
And I drove down to LA. This was like, dude, this had to have been like 01 or something.
Steve was still the man back then.
He was still the man, yeah.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Steve.
Yeah, so he was still doing shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing shit that early on. So I went and got my B16 OBDO. You know, I was like, Steve, which one do I take? You know, he's like, oh, I would take that one. He's like, you don't want that one. That was out of my race CRX. You don't want that one. You want that one. I'm like, that one's cleaner. No, do you want the dirty one? The dirty one's always good. Dude, that engine was great. Anyway, so my job or my thing was to put the B16 into the CRX. And that's all I had to do the whole. I went out and bought like an EF hatch to drive every day. And then the CRX was just at the shop.
Gotcha.
At the school. So then every, you know, like four times a week, because he let me come on like double time and I could work on the car. And every now and then I'd need a little bit of willpower, we called it, because his name was Will and his last name was Powers. So I made up, hey, I need some willpower over here to like break something loose. Crazy, or teach me how to like separate the bitch pin from the shifter. I've heard so much about it. Like, what do I do? 8mm punch. You just want to hit it once. Got you. Like, he taught me a lot. So did my first swap and then the wiring, right? So thank God I had an SI at the time, you know? And I was like, how do I do this? Like, I have to add VTEC and I have to add the secondary O2 and I have to add the NOx sensor. Like, how do I do it? So then I just figured it out and looked at pinouts. And that was like my first harness that I built. Okay. And I think that I like flipped 2 pins but I was able to understand why I did that and made a mistake and I could fix it really quick. Like, gotcha. Car ran, hit VTEC, speed sensor worked, everything is good. Like,
so at an early age, you understood that wiring is only from A to B, and you have to figure out how to get this from this point to this point.
So I added 4 sensors, and it was like 5 total wires because there was a ground in there too. So I was like 5 wires. It's a good place to start, right? So then I did another swap because that Civic that I bought was blowing smoke. So I put the engine from the CRX into the Civic. It was both were A6s, so I just swapped right in. Did that like the next week. I think I actually used Will's shop, and I was like, Will, can I use your shop to do this swap?
That's tight.
And he's like, sure, dude. So then in 2 days, I did the swap. So now I just did a swap in 2 days, which before it took me like all semester, right? Wow. I was like, okay, cool. So then my good friend at the time, her name's Jade, and she was, you know, super cool. She was in the CRX community, you know, and everything. And she's like, I want to do a Z6 swap. So she wanted to add the VTEC engine in her CRX, and she had a DPFI. So she had 2 injectors. And you know how the DPFIs are a little bit, they're like a dumbed down pseudo, like almost carbureted. You got to do shit.
Relays resistors. Isn't that the whole resistor
box?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you use, cause they were high impedance little 2 injectors, and then everybody used the low impedance with the 4 injectors, multi-point fuel injection, MPFI, right? So then you had to put a 5-wire resistor pack in. So yeah, that was a hurdle. And then you had there was distributor wires that were flipped, and you had to know how to flip them. And then there's there's one sensor that always gets confused with another. And so there was little things, and I was trying to kind of research and look at pinouts and figure out, because it wasn't there wasn't that many step-by-step guides on how to do this. So my plan is that I wanted her to do the swap. So I wanted her to turn all the wrenches. I wanted her to learn what she was doing, and we do it in 2 days, and I just stay up there or whatever and get it done with her. And then I brought a little beater truck and brought my hoist, engine hoist, or pull it out. And then, you know, she ended up doing the whole swap. And then I made this wiring harness that I thought could be the easiest route, because I don't have to sit there and do wiring. Maybe I made it so it was this layover DPFI to MPFI garbage of a harness, probably.
Gotcha.
All kind of loose wires and a little bit of loom, but it was 4-wire hookup. So all I had to do was splice 4 wires and it would work. I was like, cool. So I made this. I spent all night making this last night. And she's like, oh, cool. So he laid it in, and that was my first real kind of full harness.
No way.
Yeah, and then it was hilarious because I unpinned the injectors and then put them in the right spots. And then we put the ECU cover on, and then we turned on the engine. It was just smoking. And we're like, what the fuck? The engine's bad, right? She's like, oh man, you know, so I just popped the lid off, you know, and pulled the ECU back out. And then I'm like trying to see what was going on. Turn the car back on, no smoke. We're like, oh shit, it's good, right? My dumb ass, you know, you have to learn somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I took out the injectors, but I didn't tape them off. And I didn't realize that if you ground those, it's like activating, it's pulsing the injector. So in reality, it was grounded out. So when you turn on the key, the injector is just on. I'm surprised the car didn't like hydro lock or something.
Yeah.
So it just blowing smoke. So I figured that out. Wow, I'm dumb. Okay, cool. Taped those off and the car ran great for years. Anyway, so that kind of gatewayed me into like, okay, let me try to do a little bit more of these wire looms, and I'm not scared. So I started doing DPFI to MPFI, that exact thing. I'd be like, send me your harness, I'll mod it, send it back to you. I probably did in the first like 3 years of doing that, at least 2,000 of those.
No way.
Yeah, dude, at least.
So this was what year?
I don't know. Oh man. So probably between up to 04. So 02 to 04.
What were those running?
How much
what
they
were you
cost?
charging?
So this guy Jason, JKOBD, he made the ECU jumper from OBD0 to OBD1. So half the people just wanted to convert with an OBDO ECU to MPFI, and then the other people wanted to go OBD1. So DPFI to MPFI was like $160, and then if you wanted to convert to OBD1 and send in like a core OBD1 harness, I'd buy a patch jumper from Jason, and then it was like $300.
Yeah.
So we started doing that for a while, and I was honestly making rad money. Think about that.
At that age, hell yeah.
Out of your house, I'm still going to college. The overhead is nothing. It's freaking solder and wire, like, you know, 5 colors, 10 colors. Loom, like a little bit of loom. It was like no overhead. Yeah. Because they'd send me both looms and I'd just like pick them apart.
Yeah.
I didn't even really have pins or anything. I just, excuse me, just make it work.
So before we get too far from that, you had the teacher, Will.
Yeah, right.
So when that all finished, what happened?
Well, when that finished, then I reached out to him and said, hey, can I use your shop to do that other swap?
So you ended up passing the class and everything.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And the car ran great and VTEC worked. And I remember, you know, bringing it down to Southern California to my cousin's house. And, you know, he had a couple friends in the cars and we like raced, and the car like, you know, beat an M3. And I was
no
like,
shit.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. So, you know, that really got me into the cars. And then I started doing like swaps for people here and there when I could. Sometimes I had like my name on the web my handle was dropped CRXSI. Probably
Shut up.
It was like the only mod I had that was lowered, right? Like when I first made the name. So yeah, so that was my like handle. And so people knew me as that name, and I was like relatively popular with answering questions properly. And so like sometimes people would reach out and be like, can you do a swap for me? You know, and sometimes I would say, yeah. Can you build a car? Can you do this? Can you do a swap? And then like all my friends, the community of friends, I had moved to San Jose, started meeting people. And then I did like K-swap in my CRX.
Yeah.
That was probably.
So the K-swap in the CRX, that's probably like 07, 08 maybe, right?
I think it was earlier.
Really?
But maybe not. Okay. Well, we'd have to ask Brian from Sport when he came out with the K-swap mounts. Because I'm pretty sure like when he first came out with the K-swap mounts, I was like the third car that I like saw even like running even, you know, or maybe his and mine, and like Pac-Man. It was like Pac-Man's, Brian's car, and like my cars only like K-swapped. There was EGs and all this like a couple years before, maybe a year or two before. So this is probably, this is probably I don't know, somewhere in that range.
Okay, got you.
05.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was the K-swapped CRX. It was a white one. It was a white CRX. And that was about the time actually that we went to Japan, because that was when my buddy came and flew, and we drove from Canada in his CRX. So my buddy Chris, the one that I went to Japan with, I flew into Toronto. We immediately crossed the border, got held up because they're like, why the hell are you crossing the border when you just flew over here? Yeah. And then we drove all the way to California.
No shit.
And then we swapped.
Wow.
We swapped his car out with a K. So we had 2 white K swaps. And if you remember, like in Honda tuning, we did like a double photo shoot. So we both drove him down from NorCal to SoCal to shoot with like rod res.
No way.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Is this the same as the green CRX?
No.
Oh, dude, that's the first CRX that I knew that you had.
So I had a white K-swap CRX. So me and Chris had these 2 white K-swap CRXs. And mine was just on like GSR, like the Fat 5, quote unquote. Not really modded all that crazy. Like just super simple. I wanted it clean, simple, but with a big engine in it. It was a pretty awesome car. And then that one ended up turning gray. I painted it gray. And then the gray one I ended up selling to a friend as a chassis. And then I picked up this red one. You remember JSJ Brothers? They do all the photos. JSJ Brothers had a CRX, and it had like a cutout sunroof in it. And it was like not like a SI. It was like a DX. So they had like a retrofit sunroof thing. So I had to change the top. And then Woody, you remember 408 Woody? So Woody was my roommate, right? So we painted that car. Woody painted it. And then that's the green one that you know of. The full teardown, full build. Like a lot of like chrome dipped parts just to... I remember I chose that color because I was at the post office dropping off harnesses. And this woman pulls up in a Lexus, like this green Lexus. And I'm like, damn, that color is awesome, right? So I was like, excuse me, do you know what color your car is? And she's like, oh, I know what color my car is. It's Desert Sage Metallic from...
She knew that?
She knew because people would ask her.
That wasn't the stock color?
That is a stock color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a stock color from the Lexus. So I was like, I'm going to paint my CRX this color. Nice. And then she's like, other people have said that they're going to use this color. It's funny. She was old too. She's
really?
Like, oh, why does everybody love this color so much? I'm like, dude, it's a great color. But there was chrome details on the car.
Okay.
And that made me go like, damn, chrome with that Desert Sage fucking pops.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up doing like subframe. Like, and my thing was like, I wanted to do super subtle chrome parts. I didn't want it to look like I was into lowriders actually, but I wasn't into my Honda looking like a lowrider. I wanted it to look like a race car, but I didn't really see anybody doing chrome like David was and Rudy was, and myself. And I'm like, I want to do a cage. So I actually had to bring that down to SoCal and have them. They couldn't find big enough tanks
to chrome it,
to chrome a cage in NorCal.
Yeah.
So I brought that down, got that done. Did like the subframe was the craziest thing for me. Like a chrome subframe, people tripped the fuck out with the chrome. They were like, damn, that looks crazy. Cause it's like the detail they've never seen before. Like I remember getting that CRX done for, prior to WeekFest. What the hell is it called? Jay's Gathering. So underground parking garage in San Francisco. I built the car in San Jose. I was living in San Jose. And like the car was like, problematic. And like I just dipped there with no hood and it was raining and like fucking cars like flooding because there's...
Do you remember when that was?
No, but I'm sure you could look it up.
It wasn't WeekFest yet.
No, it was not.
Okay, so you're probably talking 2009 and before.
That was bad. It was like when all the ATS dudes were like strong. Yeah. Right? And like, everybody was like, whoa, this is serious. These cars are rad.
It was a different, that's when I started getting into it.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away.
Like if you remember Rudy's RSX, the chrome. It
was an RSX?
Mugen RS, the white RSX.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? He was possibly. Like the DPK, like RSX, the white one with like a Mugen kit.
Was it gold stuff?
Yeah.
All
gold. Yeah. So Rudy's car, like, kind of, if there was an internet to crack, they cracked the internet, right? So people went crazy over that car. It was super crazy and cool, and the fusion of the gold like velocity stacks and the Mugen body kit.
Gotcha.
And like people were like, what?
I remember that car now. Yeah,
car's dope. So it changed. It was very, very impactful for everyone. But there were some really good cars, like Ray from ATS. He had his green Del Sol.
Okay.
Engine bay was awesome. And then when I brought my CRX, people were like, "Whoa!" The engine bay is like,
it was dope.
So I built a mil spec quote unquote wire harness for it. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about this whole mil spec thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
People would love to hear this one. Okay. If you're familiar with DTR, you remember the guys that make the headers, the exhaust manifolds, Danny Tran Racing. Okay. They had a race car, an RSX race car. Danny and Derek, the guy that worked with him, they were like, yo, we're gonna build this wire loom that's like motorsport. And I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about, right? Like, what is that? So he's like, yeah, we're gonna use a mil-spec connector and this like motorsport wire and loom and stuff. We're gonna like wire it up. And they did it. They built this loom, and they had a whiteboard and the whole harness, all schematics and stuff. Shit. And they couldn't get it to run. They could never get the car to run.
Really?
Right? They couldn't. I know exactly what they did now. I'm like, wow, he didn't fucking ground that wire.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, so many years later, I actually went there and just fixed it for him, and they got it done. But so that they introduced me to that, and I'm like, whoa. And then I found this company called like PRS or something that sold that Teflon mil-spec wire, and then they sold some kind of a loom that was a heat shrink that was pretty cool. So I made this harness with DR25 and mil-spec, all like white, you know, mil-spec wire. And I got the yellow label tags. I bought this printer, and I built a motorsport mil-spec harness. And people were like, whoa, that shit is fucking crazy.
So for everybody that doesn't know, DR25.
It's like the Raychem, like it's kind of the motorsport wire cover.
So it's the black heat shrink with the yellow wiring on it. Or writing on it, excuse me.
It's got the yellow writing, and then a lot of times you'll do like the yellow tag to identify each sensor.
Got you.
And the reason for the yellow identifier is because a lot of times when you're doing aviation or something, all the wires are the same color. So then you look at a connector, it's a white connector, but like the TPS and the map might be the exact same plug. So you're like, how the fuck do I distinguish this, right? So you have to differentiate them by that yellow tag that has map or position, TPS, whatever the hell, right? So you use those yellow, and the yellow was in motorsports easy to read. It was very obvious that you could just look at the tag and it was blown up, and you could see TPS. Cool, plug that one in. It's for the technicians to work on the car. Yeah. So I wanted to just kind of, I've always been like wanting to kind of simulate if I was going to do something in F1, how would I try to like make it like serviceable the same way? You know, seeing other kinds of motorsports, kind of not even really understanding it, but maybe just seeing it and then like learning why do they use yellow, whatever. So then I built this wire harness, and I did a B series one for my buddy Nick, and he had like a little like race prep CRX, and then I did the K-swap harness, and I was like, I'm never gonna build one of these again. Like, I'm like, this is too much work. I'm not gonna build one of these ever. Like, fuck the K1. The K1 is way too much work. Like, problematic trying to figure out all these things, and it was just sucked. And then I got all these people like, build me one, build me one, build me one. And then I'll be like, it's $1,000. And they're like, oh my God, 1,000. I'm like, dude, it's like $500 of materials or more. You know? And you want me to like work for 9, 10, 15 hours on it? I should be charging you $1,500. Anyway, so that I did. I was like, you know what? I'll make it, but it's $1,500. Oh shit. I mean, it's like more than that now technically, because it, you know, you use multicolored wire, and things add up. So, but I mean, dude, I was kind of doing them on the side, and they weren't profitable. Like, it's not profit, but it was just like cool to be able to, you're taking those next big leaps, right? So in any business like yourself, like, you know, when you went to buying your hardware with the ones that would score the paint, and you'd put the little rubber pad, that's a step. And then you started machining your own washers, and you're like, damn, this is a big ass investment. This shit better pay off. Right? I was like buying mil-spec wire and rolls of DR25 and mil-spec connectors. I'd try to find them on eBay if I could, if I found part numbers, and I'd, you know, surplus shops, and just try to get these mil-spec connectors. And it was differentiating me huge, you know, like yourself with the washers. You're like, that is all of a sudden now it's Downstar, right? So then that mil-spec bulkhead is, okay, that's Rywire. Right? So I was going into that direction and differentiating myself from everybody else that was doing maybe expandable loom on their wiring. They're trying to tuck it. I wasn't trying to tuck anything, you know, like maybe the ugly stuff, the headlights, you know, at that point it's like, tuck the headlights. I want to do this clean, simple, properly structured. If you're going to build something from scratch, it's going to look good, because you're going to be able to reroute things.
Do it however you want to do it.
Do it however you want it. Clean, simple, straightest path. No excess plugs that you can put near the ECU or put hidden. Then you hide it or whatever, because you want it clean.
So it wasn't the whole tucking part of it. It was just you wanted it just to look good.
I probably have only done like 10 wire tucks in my entire life.
Yeah.
And that might blow your mind. But yeah, dude, I've only done a few tucks. I hate doing wire tucks. That shit sucks because you can't do it clean. I mean, you can, okay, but the guy that wants to just, you know, stuff in the fender and you cut and you extend. I don't cut and extend, man. Like, you have to replace the wire from point A to point B. So I don't want to do a wire tuck because there's no, like, it's got to be a passion thing.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I would do a wire tuck.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just rebuild it. So everybody's like, damn, sick tuck. And it's like, oh, well, I actually did do a wire tuck. And that's not the nice part of it. The nice part of it's the engine wire loom, but thank you.
So you felt people weren't seeing the value that you were seeing.
Yeah, they didn't understand it. So then that was really hard. And like, that was something that me and Mike, like, kind of, you know how Big Mike's always like, explaining things and critiquing you if, you know, you're wrong. And that was one of the first things that he was critiquing and trying to teach people was a tuck versus a new harness versus wrapping your factory harness with a thing and putting a yellow tag and saying it's mil spec.
Yeah.
When, you know, it's not. And mil spec's not even. It's funny because everybody's like, oh, you know, guys will be like, mil spec. That's not mil spec. Well, the material, the wire has a military part number on it. The wire loom, has a military part number on it. The connector, the bulkhead, has a military part number on it. So that's why it's a mil spec harness.
Yeah.
Okay. So my harnesses are not receiving military part numbers, but the parts that I'm using have military part numbers.
So it's kind of like aerospace,
right?
Like the same stuff that we use.
Aerospace standards.
Yeah.
And then you could take it a step further and not even mil spec. It's motorsport. So a lot of the Deutsch Autosport, those black connectors with the red rings that you see, like different color keyway rings, those are all actually designed for motorsport use. The metal ones are a little bit less expensive. They work just as well, and they're for aviation. So the MS part numbers are going to be for military and aviation and like tanks and whatnot. You'll see them in the military stuff. Yeah. And then the motorsports is all the Deutsch Autosport, the AS part number stuff. So yeah, that's
dude.
So I got heavy into that.
Every time you get into wire, I'm telling you guys, like, this dude oozes passion over wiring, and it seems like it's too much, but you have a really good way of explaining it and kind of making it for, like, I don't want to say dumb it down, but just dumb it down to the average enthusiast who's not into wiring or specific that, you know.
Right. But it seems like a lot of the enthusiasts are, you know, into tuck or clean bay or their whatever. So giving them right now I kind of like threw that big old lecture at everybody, but at the same time it's like that they kind of have to know that background to be able. I'm pulling Big Mike right now, you know.
To appreciate it.
I'm trying to tell you how it's supposed to be. You know? Like you have to understand that, and, you know, calling it a wire tuck or whatever, you can call it what you want to call it, but I don't call it that. Yeah. You know. And, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, if I was a seat manufacturer, I could tell you all day long about seats. If I was a wheel manufacturer, I could tell you about forging processes versus multi-piece versus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just do something that's a little different than the regular car guy.
And it's dope, man. And it's definitely, it's grown an economy in our field, because now there's a bunch of dudes that do it, you know, and competition is always good, but it's always good to know who actually took the risk at the beginning to make this stuff happen. Yeah. And, right now, the point in your career, it doesn't matter who's doing what or what. I mean, people come to you because they want your product. Right. And I feel like even with us, we've been through the ringers of, you know, people copying our products or whatever. And I mean, at the beginning, it used to make me feel a certain way. But at the point I'm at right now is that I realize that people want to support us because of the brand. You know, branding it. And I think that even from the jump, dude, when I first got into it in NWP days, I was like, dude, I want a Rywire harness. And my first harness that I ever did, I did my own harness. But when I had the chance to get a Rywire harness, that was what I was going to do, because it meant something to me. And it wasn't just, oh, I want a wire tuck. This is like what it represented. And that's what you brought to the community. And I wanted to be a part of that. Yeah. And that's why I bring it back to like how you've been doing with social, is that I want a lot more other people to feel that same way about it, is that I want to be a part of this. And it's not a popularity thing. Right. It's a thing that people need to understand what your brand actually means. Yeah. You know,
there's a lot to it.
And what you bring to the table and how you help people do swaps and people to help their vision come to life. And I think it's not only commendable, it's just something that is just seeing something from nothing to something is crazy. Yeah. And now you have so many employees, your shop, you have so many projects, like the number of orders going out is probably, I could just imagine, is something that you would have thought about 10 years you wouldn't even think about where it's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, the day-to-day stuff it's a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, but
a lot of people order through the website, and I'm grateful for that. And you know, I've been spending more and more times on emails and phone calls, and yeah, man.
And even coming out with new product.
Yeah, it's hard to juggle that, you know. So one thing that we've been working on a lot is a solution for chassis wiring. Yeah. Right. So one thing that, you know, just like anything, you know how I told you about how I, you know, found out about mil spec or whatever, right? Well, recently, maybe not recently, maybe in the last 5-6 years, I heard about this thing called the power distribution module, or PDU, power distribution unit, or just a solid state relay. Okay, like what is this?
So right? PDM,
power distribution module. Okay, so I've been hearing about it, read about it in like a motorsport magazine that my buddy ATS Phil Sison, he showed me this magazine. Dude, like, look at this. Like, it's a company. It's sort of like he doesn't know too much about it. He's like kind of like Motec, or I don't know, but they do like this PDM, and you don't need like fuses and relays. And I'm like, dude, like I've heard about that, but I don't really know how it works.
Gotcha.
You know, 6+ years ago or something like that. So just started reading whatever I could, and like, okay, it's solid state relay. You can pulse with it, and you can basically, you hit it a bunch of times, and you could speed up and slow down motors. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, you could operate a fan with on pulse width modulation, and you can use a solid state relay. Like, oh wow. And there's no moving parts, so there's no mechanical things to go wrong. Now what they did was they took logic, and they used like an ECU, a program with firmware,
okay,
to talk to and drive those solid state relays. Okay. So I think the first one that I ever saw it's called the PDU from Life Racing, and Life Racing's an ECU company, and they made this power unit, and I think that was the first one that I saw. And then Motec came out with theirs, and it was like, oh damn, like, but that's really expensive. Da da da. I'm like, fuck it, I want it for my projects because I want to learn. Mm-hmm. Like everything that I kind of reached a point where I'm like, I'm not going to school anymore. Okay, I'm spending money on things, and maybe people see it as excessive. Like, wow, that dude's really gonna spend fucking $4,000 on an ECU. What an idiot, right? Yeah. No, dude, people go to school and they learn shit that they don't fucking care about. $100,000 later.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do was build a $100,000 Integra.
Yeah.
Well, I did that because I have the passion and I want to do it, but it's a challenge. I'm learning. Instead of me spending money on school, I don't have anybody to really like look up to and teach me anymore. Mm-hmm. So I have to learn that shit my damn self. So what I do is I make moves, and I go, well, fuck it. I'm going to buy this expensive ECU. I'm going to buy an expensive PDM. I'm going to buy these things for the car, and I'm going to convert it to pneumatic shift, and I'm going to learn how to design a shift system, and I'm going to use the logic from the ECU to drive the shifts and tell the actuators when to shift the transmission and go up and down and different strategies. And I'm going to learn all these things, and I'm going to use a PDM, and I'm going to... So that early PDM solid state relay stuff, got me into this direction where now I'm like, wow, this works and it's fucking rad. So these companies are starting to make these maybe a little bit less expensive PDMs and stuff. And like, you know, Motex isn't that expensive. And their price actually jumped down a lot to get with competition a little bit more. So, I mean, you could get a PDM now for $1,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's really the future. And I know it and I see it, just like how I saw that mil-spec wiring was the future of car guys. The PDM, I mean, think about this. Your brand new whatever car has an ECU, but you know how you go, oh, body control modules and da 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 da. It's all operating. These are factory cars now that are operating on a CAN bus. So data that comes in from a sensor on your engine, a temperature. Let's just use temperature because it's really easy. Water temperature goes to your ECU. Okay, your ECU takes that information. It uses it adds fuel with that temperature sensor, but then it can spit that info over to a PDM. That info from a PDM, now the PDM's smart. It's a computer. It uses that logic over CAN, so there's no wires other than the CAN wires. And then what it's doing is it's going, okay, I am going to activate this fan at this temperature. And it was just a little CAN data message from the PDM. So the ECU's using that sensor to calculate how much fuel to put into the engine based on temperature. Fuel enrichment and things like that. And then that data goes over PDM. And then now the PDM's smart enough to go, okay, well, when the temperature exceeds this amount, I'm going to turn on the fan.
The fans. Got you.
And then I'm going to turn off the fan. And then now there's no wire there except for just the hot wire, the power wire going out to the fan. And then that CAN bus can share hundreds and thousands or whatever of packets of information over a CAN bus. Okay. 2 wires that can do 1,000 things.
No way.
Yeah. And it's all different code.
Yeah.
And you just give it its own packet name and number. And then that's ECT, engine coolant temp.
Gotcha.
And then that can go to your digital display. And then now your digital display can see your water temperature. So now that one sensor with 2 wires is calculating engine stuff to the ECU. Data's coming over on a CAN to the PDM to turn on your fan. And then data's coming out of the PDM. It's going to your digital dash where it's giving a heads up of, I'm 197 degrees. My fan's going to turn on now because it's at 198. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you see the temperature go down 10 degrees and then there's some overlap there and then it turns off.
Yeah.
Right? So this is tucking wires, quote unquote. You're lessening the amount of wires in the car. And that's what a PDM does is you have way less wires. There's way less moving parts. There's way less things to go wrong. It's all logic and programming, just like how these advanced ECUs are logic and programming. Factory cars have it too.
Yeah.
So it's the truth that's the future is everybody's going to be on a PDM. So what I'm doing is I'm building wire looms specific for PDMs. We're bringing in PDMs. We're distributing PDMs. We sell all different kinds of people's PDMs. And body wiring has always been kind of like you got to do it in house.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out on your side, on your own self.
Yeah.
But now we take a performance computer with one of our off-the-shelf wire looms, and then one of our off-the-shelf PDMs, and then a digital dash, and then you wire your whole car. It's a little bit of money, but trust me, when people used to buy wiring harnesses 15 years ago, they were $150 because it's just like remember 160 bucks. I was charging $160 for a DPFI to MPFI. Well, now I'd be manufacturing that, and depending on how many we can make, the price can go down. So the more that you guys buy these PDM chassis harnesses, you might see the prices go down a little bit.
Just like with Motec.
Just like with Motec. They have a premier product, but then they see that there's competition now a little bit, and then maybe they're buying more hardware. So as their name gets bigger, they could buy more of those solid state drivers. And then it's like if you guys ever buy electronic stuff, internal circuit boards and stuff, you buy one resistor at Fry's and the shit's like $1.
Yeah.
And then if you buy a pack of them, they're like $6 for this many, And then if you go online and you buy a 500,000 of them, dude, cheap, right?
Yeah.
So think about that, like you guys buy my harnesses, the price will eventually be able to go down because I can make more.
Yeah.
Right? If you're buying the same things, the price goes down. Like, look at my Honda B series harnesses. They're cheap. They're very, very, very inexpensive for what you get.
Yeah, you introduced the budget harnesses.
The budget harnesses are great because the price is really good, and then the construction is really good, and the quality is really good. So those harnesses I sell a lot of, and that's why the price is lower. So you guys call and say, I have this one-off harness, whatever, it's going to be 3 to 6 times the price, because my main guy, Ryan Durr, David, we're spending a lot of time, and we're a very small company, and I'm spending time with you. I'm like 40 emails deep with most customers when we're doing a one-off harness.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Durr is constructing most of it, and I'm building all these loom pinouts, and I'm doing all that, and then David's printing the invoices and preparing the packages and da-da-da-da. And dude, that's like 3 guys, and that might be like a 5-day build.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be 6 times the price. Instead of having, we're just like working on 100 harnesses at once, and they get done really, really quick, and it's really easy per harness, and that's why the price can come down.
Yeah, I've been seeing I actually, you were telling me about this. It was 2 years, at least 2 years ago. You were telling me about the PDM stuff.
Yep.
And I'm excited that you just released it. Like, I want to do another build just so I could put one on the car. It seems so cool, and me having like a slight background in wiring, I understand it all, so it all makes sense, and it just seems like way less of a hassle, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on videos, and it was cool because like the first video that we did was like of our universal, and I was like, this can't be a Honda, because people always are like, oh, your Honda harnesses, and the universal one's not specific to any kind of a car per se. Integrating it with the engine side is way more beneficial if you use a Rywire product. It's just that much easier. But as far as taillights, headlights, I mean, almost anybody could find the power wire on their headlight versus the ground wire on their headlight. And if a red wire coming out of my harness says headlight right, and then it's power side, and you're like, okay, well, there's a red wire and a black wire on my headlight, and I think the black wire is ground, so you ground it, and you power the other side, and then now all of a sudden when you press that button, it's all plug and play, and you press that button, the headlight turns on. You're like, oh shit, that was easy, right? Yeah. So I wired Vinny from Hoonigan, then his S14, and I wanted it to not be a Honda, so people immediately can go, oh, Rywire does Hondas. Okay. Yeah. We can do a lot more than that. I personally really like Hondas, and I want to make products, and I understand, and I love Hondas, so I go that route a lot. But that universal chassis harness that I have is going to be expanded into a lot of different applications. Right now, this point in time, it's going to be funny looking back at this, because I'm sure things will be way different in 2 years from now. But we have our whole line of the Honda ones. Mm-hmm. So you could take, you buy a Rywire budget harness, and then I'm looking at your EG, and I keep pointing at it because it's right in front of me right now. So his EG6 is like right in front of us, and then Seinfeld is here, so it's like perfect.
Perfect.
Surrounded by all these great things. So this car, you have a Rywire harness, and then you put the body harness in it, and then you have the taillight plugs, and everything's all done, and you just plop, everything plugs in. So eventually, one day, I hope that people buy enough of those that can then have enough interest to go into Datsun Zs and E92 M3s and freaking like all these different cars that you could conceivably wire if you wanted to. And I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. It's crazy.
And that's dope that you're bringing that to the table, because like you even say, the Hoonigan guys reaching out to you, because no matter what level you're at, there's still a need for it. There's still a need for what you have to offer, and it's not just a Honda thing. I mean, and that's one thing that I could relate on as well. Like, things that we do is not just for Honda bolt kits. Like, granted, a bunch of the kits are around that, but you have to understand.
M6 by 1.0 is like pretty standard to a lot of vehicles.
We come from the Honda community, so that's where the Pebble dropped at, and it's spreading now, and we want to make this the ripple effect from it go as far as possible, because for one, it's like the business is good, but for two, it's like you want to see how much power that you can put out, where your influence is going, and it's not like an ego kind of thing. It's basically like, what can I do now? What's the next thing that I can do now? How far can I push
How far can you push it? So, you know, I've had a couple like mind-blowing kind of deals. So first and foremost, when I first moved to Southern California, I don't remember how many years ago it was now.
It was probably like 6.
More, dude.
You think
more?
so?
It was like 8 or 9. So when I first moved to SoCal, I actually found a supplier for connectors. Okay.
Yeah.
And my mind like opened up. I was like, how, you know, not like when you win a lottery or whatever, but like when you just go like, holy shit.
You were creating something and you had these tools, but now you get to the shop and you have like so many more tools. You're like, I could do way more with this.
Right.
Now.
So I found a source for the plastic connector bodies, and I'm like, it opened up my whole world. So that made me like go all in with my business in a certain direction. The PDM thing, it's funny because the one that I had for so long, you know, I was using different brands in my cars and stuff, and I was just sitting on this one, and I'm like, I could make something with this. And one day it just like, duh, you know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that was that, and I blew my mind and opened it up to all these different things. It was very similar when I found the connector thing. So like 2 times in my business, it's been like, oh my God, my whole head's exploded. And this could be like, you start getting these crazy ideas, and it's like, you get that like crazy, like upper feeling. Like, you know, I don't do drugs, but I could only imagine if you were like, it's like if you got a dose of something and you're just like, holy shit, this is fucking unreal.
Yeah.
You know, that happened twice.
Nice.
And this whole like PDM thing is another one of those for me. So I could only kind of imagine the direction I could take it in.
Dope, man. This is going to be a good benchmark right here, because I feel like 2019 is going to be an exciting year for everybody, man, for the community, for the culture. I feel like everything is going to blossom coming into 2020. So it's really dope that you're doing this, and it's dope that you're doing it for the community, because this, with you giving this product, that's giving the guy in Kansas who's building his car in the shed right now, it gives him the idea, because he's just trying to figure out the wiring. It's like, dude, I'm just gonna go with that. And it's dope, man, that you're still just pushing the bar and just trying to move forward.
So I mean, this is crazy too, but put it this way, it doesn't even have to be an automotive application. So you can use a PDM to run, like, you know what's crazy is this company, I can't say their name, but they're building like a underground train system in LA. Oh, wow. And they've reached out to me about PDM.
No way.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's like, damn, dude.
That's tight,
like there's, and then like David was telling me, like he used to do, you know, my guy, DPK David. Yeah. He's like, dude, I used to work at this place before Rywire, and they did DJ solution stuff. Yeah. And it's like, could you imagine if you could program a PDM to run like lighting?
Yeah.
Do, like,
oh, you're
okay,
right.
So I told my girlfriend, she was talking about like lights because of Christmas, right? It's Christmas, you know, we just got past Christmas right now, January. So she's like, look at this light show. This is freaking crazy. Somebody's neighborhood, like she found it online. And I'm like, I could do that with a PDM. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, because think about it. You have an output and you're programming it to flash at a certain time, and you're doing delays and this and that. And
just to go along with music or whatever.
You could do whatever you want with this thing. You could run a train. You could run a city. You could run a freaking, you know,
that's tight, dude.
So there's a lot more to it than just an enthusiast putting it in a stripped out car. Yeah. I've actually had people reach out and be like, I want to do this like control system with like, you know, it could be nitrous or it could be like just whatever. Yeah. I'm going to build this, and I'm going to buy some of these, and then I'm going to like make this thing. And they're really smart guys in the industry, you know, and then they're like, I'm going to program it myself, and I'm going to make it do all this like logic. They're like the, you know, the tuners. Yeah. And then so they're like, okay, if this works out, like I'm going to report back, I'm going to buy more of these, and I need looms anyway. So why don't you just build the looms for me? So it's like, it's great because it's like, I'm reaching out, like I'm getting networked with these good, you know, influential, pivotal guys in the industry. I could build a product with them. Yeah. And then they can buy the unit, and then we're serving a completely different outlet. Yeah, dude. You know, so there's a lot you can do. And that's why my mind was so like opened up when I
That's
kind of
dope,
realized
man.
what I could do with a tool.
That's tight, man. I really hope that this podcast brings a lot more people your way, because the stuff that you have to offer, and not only just the product, just like the motivation,
Yeah.
and just seeing you push forward and being in the industry. How long? 15, 20 years at least.
20 was like how long I've been really doing cars kind of more
Yeah.
seriously. But yeah, if you want to call like gauge tech in the industry, then yeah, 20 years pretty much.
That's
so.
good, man. So we're about to wrap it up right here. If you got somebody that's looking right now and just has a passion, and they're kind of like nervous for going forward, what would be some kind of advice that you would give them?
Just start somewhere, and if you have that mind cracking fucking, you know, epiphany of what you could conceivably do, if you have the resources of trying to make the next step, just do it.
Just do it.
Because I mean, I when I moved from NorCal to SoCal, it was a big thing, and I was like, damn, this is serious right here. I don't have a place to live and stuff. I'm just gonna make this happen and just find a shop and go.
Yeah.
It was like when I was overseas and just have nowhere to go. I
Yeah.
just do it. So if you think that if you're motivated enough, you got the drive, you reach that epiphany of like, this is so like people are gonna love this, just go all in with it.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's one thing that that I could definitely stand behind, is that if you don't go for it, if you don't try it, there's no way of even knowing if it would have worked.
Right.
And here's an example of it working. So thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Last thing, just let them know where they can find you at.
All right. So I predominantly just use Instagram, Rywire_motorsport. Wait.
Yeah, Rywire _motorsport _electronics.
Okay, so there's 2 underscores, Rywire motorsport electronics with underscores. When you just type in Rywire, you'll probably find it. I'm also on YouTube. It's kind of like grassroots starting out. I filmed some content.
Nice.
So I just got to get it kind of up, and
we'll throw the links in the bio.
Yeah. So it's just do Rywire, and then you'll find the YouTube channel. We're building a CRX. I'm taking it way back, dude.
Hell yeah.
That was the CRX builds were, you know, like 15-ish years ago. And I'm doing the, like, dude, it's a white CRX.
Nice.
It's one of my buddy's cars. But, like, it's a K20. It is literally going to be like a spitting image of 15-year-old build. And I'm just documenting each thing. And it's a car that I have a lot of parts for. You could buy this and slap them on. So I don't have a lot of install videos.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like install video, pushing some of the people that are supporting the car. Yeah. Like yourself. I got you in there.
Hell yeah.
I showed I'm kind of doing like this whole unboxing. To be honest, like I'm looking at I'm not a YouTube, like I don't know what to do. Yeah. So I looked at a couple other guys. They do a couple unboxing. They talk about it. They're like bullshit. They say, look at me installing this part, and it's a little bit corny maybe. Yeah. But at the same time, like people need to see that. So it works. And then I can get supporters on, and then they can kind of see that it's reaching more, you know, that their return on investment is there.
Good, man. Good. Well, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the media part of it grow, and because the community does need people like you, and it needs people like you to be vocal and to guide the community to go in the direction that we need it to go. Yeah. Not only for, our benefits, business owners' benefits, just so we have something in the future to look forward to.
I mean, it's a huge market that I feel like that I could be missing out on a little bit. So maybe people that have been doing it for a really long time. I mean, I know there's guys on like YouTube, for example, that have been doing it for as long as I have, which is awesome. But there's also like newbies that are just doing like oil changes, whatever. And like, wow, it's wild to see how much reach they can get. Yeah. So it's like somebody that's been doing it for a long time and has done this exact same thing like 15 years ago. I'll probably make it look easy, but I think that it could really help a lot of people, even 15 years later, using the same Hossport mounts and using the same wiring harness and case swap and, O2 to O4 engine, like same shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's pretty cool.
But thank you again for coming, Matt. I appreciate it. And we'll definitely see you guys in Japan. Yeah. So have a good one, guys. Once again, this is Downtime with Downstar. Ryan from Rywire. Make sure you guys check him out. And we'll talk to you later. Peace.